Ladies and Habibis, we are going to introduction to you rising star of South Asia. He is very well educated. He knows Islam and Christianity very well. He done what they said he can't. He is Doctor.
Alhamdulillah.
Wait a minute, what are you doing, Zakir? You come out, it's not you. Habibi, take him out. Sorry, there was some problem. He's Adam Zakir.
Hello everyone. This is your favorite Murtid. Salamul Masih. Peace of Christ be with each and every one of you. I hope you guys are having fun. And I want Shariah. That's today's stream. Welcome everyone. This is your favorite Murtid, Adam Seeker, live once again. Salamul Masih, peace of Christ be with each and every one of you in live stream. Who are watching, who will watch later, welcome. We want Sharia. I want Sharia. Sharia is very important. Sharia is very, very important. Everybody wants Sharia. And for everybody to have Sharia, what do we need? We need majority Muslim population in the West. That is what we need. Are we having majority Muslim population in the West? In different locations. Why? Why in different locations? Because every time Muslims migrate to a particular Western country, they'll have to migrate and then live in a particular region. So they increase their population in that particular region. Why? Because that's what Sharia says. Live among each other. Jews and Christians are not your friend. So on and so forth. But why do they come to the countries of Jews and Christians? Because, hello, can I have an answer? Because this is another way of invading a particular country, a Western country to be precise, a country which is a non-Muslim country but has good value, good money, good resources, and good culture and good society. But then again, when we migrate here, what do we need? We want Sharia, the same Sharia from which we ran away in our countries. So we want Sharia in a non-Muslim country where we ran off from Sharia in our country, and now we want it here. Why? Because that's the Islamic law. Why? Because I want to live by Allah. Okay, have you ever read Sharia? Allah's law is Sharia. Have you ever read a book which talks about Sharia? I know Quran and Hadith is Sharia. No, Quran and Hadith will give you the points to make Sharia. Quran and Hadith are not Sharia. Sharia means Islamic law. Law is absolute. So when you have to have absolute stuff, where do you go? You go to your mujtahideens. And when the mujtahideens agree upon something, Allah said, my ummah cannot agree on falsehood. Hence, when the mujtahideens agreed upon something, it becomes Sharia and law. And law, Sharia, is divinely protected. Divinely protected means Sharia is like Quran. No, we don't accept this Sharia, we accept some other Sharia. No, you have to accept this Sharia, because when the Sharia is implemented, you have no say whatsoever. You will have no say in Sharia once Sharia is implemented. That is why you are crying to go back to where you ran off from. You are crying to implement the same thing which you actually ran away from. You ran away from Pakistan because it has partial Sharia, 40% Sharia. You ran away from there because that is bad. You want the same thing here. You ran away from Afghanistan because it has 80% Sharia. You want it back at here. You ran away from Syria. You want Sharia here. You ran away from Egypt. You want Sharia here. You ran away from Gaza. You want Sharia here. You ran away from every Indonesia and then you want Sharia here. Why? So that this country will become the same as your own country. No, 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 no. That country does not have the real Sharia. No, that okay. If your country does not have the real Sharia, can you actually tell me what the real Sharia is? Quran and Hadith is the real Sharia. Dude, what is the real Sharia? And you will get into this circular argument with every single Western person who has migrated to the West. And they have no idea what Sharia is. And what we are going to today is we are going to show them what Sharia is. And I challenge each and every single Muslim on this planet to come up and refute me. Anyone, anyone, anyone in the entire world to come up and refute me. But today we have another beautiful guest with us. She is marvelous. She is doing an amazing job. And why should I tell a lot about her? Why not let's bring her up? And I welcome our sister, Mary Herb. How are you, sister?
I am doing great today, and I firmly believe in Sharia for all Muslims, and that every Muslim in the world who moves to any place ought to live within the bounds of Sharia law and all of its and every bit of its requirements and every bit of its punishments. I think that living outside of Sharia law should be considered apostasy. That is my point of view. I think that there would be remarkably few Muslims in any place other than an Islamic country if that were true.
I fully agree with you. If they want Sharia, let's give them Sharia. They want Sharia, let's give them Sharia. I don't know why our Western people are not giving them Sharia. They want Sharia, give them the Sharia which can be implemented upon them only. They
Exactly.
actually, Mary, they don't want Sharia. They want Sharia for their own good things only. For marriages, they want Sharia over there. Uh, divorce, they want Sharia over there. Uh, riba free loans, they want Sharia over there. Interest free loans, I mean, they want Sharia over there. When the when the criminal Sharia comes into play, if you steal, cut your hand. They don't want Sharia over there. If you have sex out of marriage, stone you to death. They don't want Sharia over there. If you are a gay or a lesbian, beat you with 100 lashes. They don't want Sharia over there. If you go out of your house without a proper hijab, uh, beat them with 80 lashes. They don't want Sharia over there. So every single thing they want Sharia where the men will have more and more relaxation, power, musty, sexual enjoyment, lust, and all of these things. But they still want to drink alcohol. They don't want Sharia on alcohol because in Sharia, if you drink alcohol and you are found drunk, what should happen to you? 100 lashes. So they don't want Sharia on the things where they will be will have civil persecution by the Islamic laws, but they want Sharia where they will have the right to spread their false idiotic cult created by a man and lustful things, but they don't want the complete Sharia. Why shouldn't we give them all the Sharia of the world to be implemented on all the Muslim women and Muslim man who want Sharia? Because you have seen my thumbnail. They want Sharia in London, they want Sharia in Britain, they want Sharia in Netherlands, they want Sharia in France, they want Sharia everywhere.
Yeah, but I don't think that. I think that to be classified as a Muslim, you should have to live entirely under Sharia. And if the Sharia is not properly applied, then that imam shall be officially declared apostate as well. So, or the faqih, right?
Oh, I
Depending
agree with
on
you.
where you are and what your particular person of jurisprudence is called.
I think I fully agree with you. I want to give them the Sharia. Let me show you what they want. The Sharia that they want is only for the apostates. Check this out. So a sheikh, was asked. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened to my throat suddenly. But a sheikh explained, you know this sheikh, this shaky sheikh. Let me show you. This shaky sheikh. Do you know this shaky sheikh?
Oh yeah, he's one of my favorite.
Ah, this shaky sheikh is your
He
favorite?
tells you, for example, an important point of Sharia law is if you do something like, say, rape a child in the bushes and the child doesn't tell anyone and it's not found out, that's a mercy from Allah and He has already
Allah.
forgiven it for you. Yes, He's
Yeah,
forgiven
baby.
it for you. He's hidden it for you in this world, and in the next He will forgive it for you. And that is how Allah works.
MashaAllah.
If your
MashaAllah.
sins don't get found out, then Allah has already forgiven them. You know, if you're
I will
a
show you. I will show you
cannibal
that is in
serial
the
killer,
Sharia.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's in Sharia. You
Oh, yeah.
have to hide the sins. But I will go to the sin part later. Let's see, why do they want Sharia? They want Sharia to kill us, the apostates. Check this out.
No compulsion in Islam. Well, it's in religion. Why killing those who leave Islam? Okay, that's a very logical question. Now, is killing others justifiable? This depends on where you're coming from. If you're a Muslim, you said yes, this is a prescribed punishment.
Alhamdulillah. If Quran says there's no compulsion in religion, why do you want to kill apostates? Because it's a prescribed punishment.
Right. So Islam doesn't have to make sense because it never made sense because Muhammad made things up as he went along. And so Islam's theology, as well as its Sharia law, is an utter train wreck as a result. And it really does, like, of all things, to have the appearance of holiness and none of the substance. There is nothing in the world that describes that is described better by that phrase than Islam. Islam truly has the most ridiculous appearance of, oh, we're so chaste, we cover up all the time, and we don't look at women. And yet, what's actually happening in Islam? Go to any village after dark. And if you go past the bushes, very often there will be two people in there, and they will be two men, and they will be doing things that Islam tells them not to do. Why?
Astaghfirullah.
Because even though Islam says don't do it, Islam also says Allah has given you your portion of zina, and that so you're going to do it no matter what. And Allah wants to forgive you. So He needs you to commit sins, because if the sons of Adam had done any sins, He would have destroyed them and brought in people who would. So He needs you to do sins. He's requiring you to do the quantity of zina He's given you. And He also is concealing your sins for you in this world so He can forgive them in the next. So it's built in this fakeness, this falsity, this absurdity of fake piety and just disgusting, revolting corruption underneath.
Wow, you were very explicit on a lot of points, but I want to show you something here before we move forward. In this world, a woman has to cover, she has to be in veil. You know that, right? Marry her?
Yep, and in the next world, she still has to wear niqab.
Oh, she will have. No. You're wrong. According to Sharia, check this out.
عزد
well, unless she's old and
وليس
ugly.
هناك جشع ولا طمع. مقصورات في الخيام محبوسات لأجل الزوج ما في طلوع وخروج
You know what he said? In Jannah, these ladies
Yeah, they can't leave.
will be locked up in their houses.
That's absolutely true.
Check this out again. Let's watch it again. Watch it again. Let the Sheikh speak.
Yep.
And let the Arabic people listen, and let the non-Arabic read the subtitles.
جشع ولا طمع. مقصورات في الخيام محبوسات لأجل الزوج ما في طلوع وخروج إذا جاء وجدها. لا يمكن واحد في الجنة يجي البيت ما حصل زوجته. والله سبحانه وتعالى قال يعني وصفهن بأنهن قاصرات الطرف فلا تنظر إلى غير زوجها أصلا. العين لا تمتد إلى غير الزوج. وكذلك فإن هذا النعيم يعني من جهة الوصول إليه يعطي الله قوة فيه، يعني يعطى.
نعم والعافية شيخ محمد، يعني كما أشرت أنها.
So, in the heaven, these women will be locked up in their tents or houses. They use the word tent because in Arabic and Quran it's tent, because they didn't know there were houses as well. So anyhow, they'll be locked up in the houses, and there is not a single instance when a man could come home and he will not find his wife there. They'll be locked up
Yes,
there.
that's
They'll be always locked up there.
absolutely true. And let me tell you the evidence for that in the Ahadith. So in the Ahadith, we find that it says that the men will go out to markets and buy perfumes and so on. And when they return to their wives, and that's also where they buy images that they get to go into whenever they want to. But whenever they return to their wives will say to them, "You are even more beautiful and sound and smell even better than when you left." And they will say to their husband, and the husbands will say to their little girl women wives, if you can call them wives, because they will all be little girls. Keep in mind, every single woman, they're of equal age, but they're of equal age to a little girl with barely budding breasts. He will say to his little girl wives, "Oh, you are even more beautiful than when I left." And indeed, they will be even more beautiful and smell even better, even though they never leave the house. They also are niqabis, because it talks about the huris and the light that their veils give off. So these are niqab type veils that are referred to here. And in addition, as the Imam said, it talks about women who will not raise their gazes, which means that even if their husband might have visitors, she will never look at them. The only man that she will look at for all eternity will be the jihadi with all of his wounds all over him, while at 30 years old, while she is a tiny little girl.
I fully agree with you. Wallahi, you are speaking the truth. But you know what? Today, no Muslim will join in. When I speak, no one joins in. When I finish my live stream, there'll be like tens of Muslims who will be like commenting afterwards. There'll be a lot of dislikes, reporting and everything. And yet when I'm live, there is nobody who has the guts to come up with evidence and prove us wrong. Like
Now-
even right now, let me just tell you, even right now, there are at least 3 people who disliked my stream. 3 already disliked it. But nobody has the guts to come up live. None
Now,
of them has the
what
guts
they
to
will-
come up live.
What they will argue is that in Jannah, you get whatever you want. But what they leave out is that there are requirements. There will be no one in Jannah who is not married. So what does that mean? It means that Allah makes you want what he wants to give you. Also, and all the little girl wives and all of their hearts with their barely budding breasts, that means that they're like 8 to 10 years old body wise, right? Somewhere in there, that their jealousy will be taken away. So Allah makes them like it. So Allah gives you what he will give you, and he makes you like it. You will get what your heart desires because Allah requires that you desire these things. So when you are in Jannah, you will be a pedophile because your ideal, most beautiful woman in the world will be this woman with this child with barely budding breasts. You will also enjoy your male servants, serving boys as well. They will be to your taste. So you will all be pedophiles and you will all be pederasts.
Let's come back from Jannah to this world, because we are talking about Sharia, right? So let's move back, Mary. Let's move back. In this world, the woman has to do veil. You know why the woman has to veil?
So that she is not harmed by Muslim men.
Okay, yes, that is true. That is Quranic. But if you go to Hadith and if you go to Shara, there is something more to that. Would you like to listen to it?
Umar
Would you like to
harassing
listen to it
Sauda
how-
while she's going poop. Like
Would
she
you like to-
can't even leave the poor woman alone to go poop. What kind of man is this?
That's the beloved Sahabi, companion of Prophet, whom Muhammad said that if there would have been a Nabi or Prophet after me, it would be Umar, the same guy.
Yeah.
That's the
And
level
keep in
of
mind,
prophethood.
Before he became Muslim, he smacked his sister around so badly that she bled, after he became, or before he became a Muslim, after he became a Muslim, he still slapped around his wives, and he whined to Muhammad when Muhammad said, stop hitting women. He's like, man, they talk back to us if we can't hit them. And so Muhammad went, fine, you can hit them again. In fact, Allah tells you you must hit them if you fear their disobedience. So
absolutely. This is Sahih Bukhari.
he's the
Sahih
second
Muslim.
prophet.
It's already
Yeah.
there.
The
But
second prophet of Islam, right?
let's listen to how the Arab scholars actually says why the woman has to veil. Okay, guys, this will be in Arabic, so you have to read the translation in the subtitle. Check it out.
نقبة ولابسة اسود وتشتكي لابسة إسدال.
He's saying the woman who's wearing burqa, hijab, veil, they're saying they are sexually molested. Why are they sexually molested? Even when they are
Because-
totally in black. Wait.
Wait,
Let him first say that. Wait. Why are they sexually molested? Check. Look what he is saying. Wait, Mary. Wait.
do you want to see if I'm correct, though? Let's see if I can predict it.
No. You won't get to the dirtiness of this guy. But okay, carry on.
I bet I will, because they are veiled, but it is if they are not, because they
No.
still show the same shape of the body, or they wear perfume.
No, wait. I told you will not reach this guy. So now wait and
Okay,
listen and
so
read.
that is the explanation from the Hadith. Let's see what his explanation is.
Check this out. Wait.
لابسة إسدال ونقاب اسود وتشتكي انها بتعاكس عينيكي باين فيطمع فيك.
Your eyes are visible. So you are lusting from
eyes.
the eyes. You know where he is
Two
getting
whole
it?
eyes.
He is getting it from
Uh-huh.
Al-Badaya wal-Nihaya of Ibn Kasir. And he actually quotes a couple of different Sahabis and Tabi'ins, means companion and the companions of the companions, that Ibn Abbas and other scholars actually said that you can make lustful to a man from your own eyes as well. Hence, cover one of your eye as well. And I will show it. I will show you.
Yeah, the one eye. Yep, I've seen
Cover
that
one of
one.
your
That
eye,
you
because
dare to
back in
wear
those
both
days-
eyes, uncover
Yeah,
both
because-
eyes. Yep.
Because back in those days, the problem was you did not had a see-through cloth or a cloth with holes that we can produce now. So cover one of your eyes so that you cannot make lustful looks to men in the cup. And this guy is saying the same thing because he has read that. Now he's saying,
my goodness.
in the veil, in a proper hijab, you are still creating lust in the man because your eyes are visible. Hey, listen. What if, okay, marry her. What if she has a veil which is covering her eyes as well? And she
Well,
can
then
see
it could be
through-
the shape of her body, or the shape of her hair, or her perfume,
hair is covered.
or
Hair is covered.
her ankles.
Hair is covered.
No,
In
the shape
hijab.
of the hair. According
is
to
covered.
Muhammad,
But
it
dude,
doesn't matter
in
if it's
hijab,
covered. If you have
covered.
a hump under your hijab, men will go,
You
"Ooh,
can't.
she has lots
No,
of hair," even though it's
no,
just a
Mary-
hump, and then
Mary,
they'll get
you
horny.
still-
According to one.
You still can't reach there.
Still not that one.
No.
All right, let's
check
see if
this
it's something I've heard before. I had actually
it
heard this one, but I hear it less often
Check it
from my
out.
moms.
Check it out.
Okay, let's try.
لأن شرابك بيج
Ha!
وجلبابك
I got
قصير
that one. I
شوية
said
فيطمع
ankles. I
فيك.
got it. I
لأن
did get that
شنطتك
one.
ذهبي.
Your red handbag is visible,
Oh,
silly.
Now that
Your-
one I did not get. That's even
your-
funnier.
Your red handbag is making a man lusting for you.
That's amazing. I got the ankles. I did not imagine the red handbag. I can't even imagine where he made that up from.
Come on.
If your
you're
man
wearing
is
a
lusting
hijab.
after you because of your purse, I hate to tell you this, but there's something wrong with him.
You are wearing a full hijab, a black full hijab, but you're having a red handbag. That is going to make a man lustful, man. That's gonna make a man lustful for sure.
I'm asking the chat, dear men, how many of you have seen a handbag and felt lust? Because there is something seriously wrong with that man.
No. These are non-Muslims. They won't lust. But once again, guys, do you lust because of a red handbag? press 1. If you
Oh,
don't
dear.
lust because of a red handbag, press 2.
I want to see the poll because that is so warped.
All right. Somebody said red handbag fetish.
Yes. I'm
but
really disturbed.
but there's one more thing, Mary, and you will definitely not reach there. But let's see. Let's see. He's gonna tell us one more thing. What makes a man lustful? One more thing. Check it out.
فيها احمر لانك مش لابسه جوانتي يطمع فيكي.
Your hand gloves. You're showing your hands, and your hand has gloves. You aren't covering your hands with gloves, so your hands are making somebody lustful. Not your gloves. So you have to wear gloves on your hand. If your hands does not have gloves, they are lusting the man.
Oh my goodness. Again, this is what we call, there's something called paraphilias, aka fetishes, and men who get turned on by women's garments or things associated with women. They have this is a fetish. This is a genuine fetish. And a lot of cross dressers get turned on by women's clothes. So this is like, he's like here confessing to having cross-dressing type of urges. And Andrew Martin earlier said that the handbag needs a burqa too. So.
Absolutely. Why is it red? It needs to be in a black burqa.
I'm just dead.
Now this is the scholar. I wanted to show some scholars today before I go into the subject of the matter. Sharia. Mary, what do you think, in your opinion? How many Muslims have ever read Sharia? Or any book of the fiqh?
Tiny fragments. If I bring up, for example, the Heavenly Ornaments, which is the Deobandi book that is supposed to be given to women about their particular duties, like no one outside of Afghanistan hardly has even heard of it. And if you just say the title of some of these books, they'll just give you blank stares. Even if you bring it, even if you show them, or I butcher it, but say it in Arabic, they'll be like, what? Well, that's not where we get our religion from. I'm like, yeah, actually it is. It really is. A lot of them don't even know what school of jurisprudence their region follows. They'll be from like Ghana and have no idea that it's Maliki, right? Not a clue.
I agree. Let's read some of the Sharia because they have not read it. I want to give them the Sharia. They want Sharia, I'll give them Sharia. This is M2.3, page number 510, Reliance of Traveler. In Arabic, it is called Undatus Salik. And it says, read. A majority of scholars, with the exception of some Hanafis, okay, exception of some Hanafis, as mentioned in M2.8, and we will go there later, have been recorded to holding that it is unlawful for a woman to leave the house with face unveiled. This guy is absolutely right. You don't cover your eyes. You are making lustful things from your eyes to men. Read further. Whether or not there is a likelihood of temptation, it doesn't matter whether you'll tempt somebody or not. You have to cover your face. When there is likelihood of temptation, scholars unanimously concur, including the Hanafis now, because there is a likelihood of temptation. Scholars unanimously means including those some Hanafis concur that it is unlawful to go out without hijab while covering your face. Temptation means anything that leads to sexual intercourse, or it usually preliminaries. Yani it's gonna create lust in man. As for when there is the real need, looking is unlawful, provided that the temptation is unlikely. So if you have Sharia, marry her by default, in the TVs, in the films, in the any dramas, anything, there can be no woman, number one. Number two, in the stores, there can be no woman. In the hospitals, there can be no woman. So you will have a society of men only. What would it look like, sister?
Well, it certainly means that a whole lot of women end up dying of ailments because they are not properly medically treated, because there are people who are not that while there are exceptions in Sharia for immediate medical treatment of an emergency, you have to wait till she's basically on her deathbed.
Oh yes,
Minor
let's take
things
that.
she can't
Okay.
see a doctor for.
You always change my topic, so don't
So
do that. But let me do that.
but I'm saying that the women being inside the house, that's one of the big major effects of that. Another effect is that there are very few things that she can even leave the house for, if she wants to leave the house at all, and she is massively confined. Now that doesn't mean that women don't sleep around in
Okay.
actual Islamic societies, because they absolutely can, because a man who is not particularly tall, who's bundled up, looks exactly like a woman. And you're not supposed to look him in the eyes anyway. And so women will arrange with men to meet them in houses. And all you need to have is another lookout, and then you're not alone with a man, also, even. So there are all kinds of ways around it. But the
Like
idea is that it will like contain the women. But in reality, it just makes things dangerous for them. Because anytime there's lust, it's her fault.
for sure. Mujahidul Islam, if you have the guts, come up live and prove us wrong. What's the problem? Your deen
Oh,
is stupid.
he's joking. He's not a Muslim.
Oh, okay. So it's a sarcastic one. Put some
Yes,
smiley in the end so that I would know. All right, let's check this out. Doctor treats patient. Check this out, because you changed my topic. I'll go back to hijab later. Now first. do
Sorry
that.
about that.
Both.
But that's part of it, because a woman can't be unveiled. Like, she has to be covered up.
Hey Mary,
And
hold on. Let me listen.
Yeah, go
Let me
ahead.
read that first. Then speak. Both looking and touching are permissible for medically blood thinning, cupping, medical treatment when there is real need. Only when there is a real need. A Muslim woman needing medical attention must be treated by a Muslim woman doctor. Or if there is none, if there is no Muslim doctor, female doctor, then by a non-Muslim woman doctor. So you have to go figure it out. Is there a Muslim doctor here? Hello, is there a Muslim female doctor here? Is there a Muslim female doctor? Because I have my wife, she needs cupping therapy or some injection, some shot. I need a Muslim female doctor. Are you a Muslim? No, not you. Is there a Muslim doctor? If there is no Muslim doctor, then a Muslim female doctor. If there is no Muslim female doctor, then a male Muslim doctor may treat her, while if none of the above are available, then a male non-Muslim doctor. If the doctor is of the opposite sex, her husband or an unmarriageable male relative must be present. It is obligatory to observe this order in selecting a doctor. The same rule applies to a Muslim man, unfortunately, in the reverse order. Now imagine, Mary, here, when you have an emergency, how will you find doctors in this order?
Well, and it's even worse for things that don't appear to be an emergency, because that little bit there, if there is real need, is the kicker. That's the one that tends to kill lots of women, because their husbands go, well, I don't think it's that important that you go and see. There are only men available, because how on earth could, in a strict Islamic society, how many female doctors should you have? You ought to have none. But you may have some, because some people aren't following things very strictly, but you have very few. So you have men who go, well, I don't think your father, your husband, something happens, someone that we both know spilled, had a horrible spill and enormous burns on her legs that were agonizing. And her father completely refused to allow her to be seen. by a
Because of the
doctor.
next paragraph. Because of the next
Right,
paragraph.
because it was not necessary.
No,
But
no.
what if she had gotten
No,
an
no, no.
infection
Mary,
and
Mary,
it
hold on.
died?
Mary, hold on, hold on, hold on. No, no. Because of this next paragraph. Check this out. You got to read this next paragraph. Necessary. So define what necessary is, like you were saying. What is necessary? Necessary treatments of her face or hands is permittable looking. That's where you can have a man, a Muslim man. As for other parts of the body, like you said, legs, burned on her legs, the criteria for permissibility is severity. That is, of the need of the treatment, meaning that there must be an ailment as severe as though permitting dry ablution. And if the part concerning is genitals, oh my god, the need must even be more acute. This is what you are trying to describe.
Yep.
So, legs, you just said legs, burned legs, means if she is not dying of that burn, you don't need to take her to a male doctor. No, you cannot.
And who is it who decides how severe it is and whether or not her life's in danger?
Her
Does she get to
husband,
decide that?
her
Hmm.
husband or her father, depends whether she's unmarried or married. Hello?
Yep.
The
And
woman,
that
the woman
is,
is a slave of her husband and the father. First husband, then
yes.
father. Sorry, first father, then husband. So they'll decide it.
And so that's one of the consequences, but it's not the most dehumanizing one. For example, whenever people had to mask, it changed social interactions and was enormously damaging to how people interacted with one another socially, and caused lasting social damage, and caused damage in children especially. But how old do little girls have to veil if you're following Sharia law strictly?
I have people who are 6 or 7 years age, they start to wear hijab. I know people.
Yep. And why is that?
Do you have Muslimas friends around you?
Yep.
Have you not seen a 6 or 7 years old girl going to what, second grade? I think second grade or third grade, wearing a proper hijab before going to school. Have you not seen that?
Thankfully, the ones I know don't actually follow Islam very well, so they don't do that. Um, and even their teenagers will just refuse. A lot of them will just say, "No, I won't," around where I am. But in middle school, they absolutely did. But the veiling is often at 6 or 7 years old, because that's when Aisha was married. So can you feel lust? Because the one the all of the law agrees that whenever she meets puberty, then she has to be veiled. But there's also that classification of lust. Can you lust after a child who is younger than puberty? Well, if Aisha was married to Muhammad because he desired her before puberty, which she was, then that's the last age that you should be going around unveiled, whatever the veiling is for your society. But according to this, it ought to be a face veil. So 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds ought to have face veils. They usually aren't as cruel as what their religion would require, and often only put on head veils on small children. But I get furiously angry. Some people put little head veils on their toddlers, and I just get white hot furious.
And they are very,
Because that
very,
means that they think that someone wants to bang their child.
and they're very proud of that.
They're proud of it. And I'm like, you're turning your child into a sex object.
Exactly, and they're making it YouTube and
Oh,
TikTok videos. Oh, mashallah,
so
mashallah.
angry.
She's wearing a niqab, mashallah. And they are so proud of it. It's just so inhumane. I was watching Facebook, reels. I think that's what they're called. And I scrolled up, and suddenly I found a reel where a woman was trying to eat ice cream, and she used to pick up her veil and take the ice cream from underneath the veil to her mouth, and then the veil got the ice cream, and she tried to clean it with the tissue paper, and then she picked up another bite, and then it touched the outside of the veil again, and she spilled it, and she was crying. Her eyes had tears, but she cannot take off the veil. And she was making a YouTube video, and then she turned it off. Like, imagine this is happening right there and then. It's in front of our eyes.
And that's a way to separate women and men completely, to ostracize women from society. You can't go to a restaurant and eat with one of those stupid things on. It is just way too cumbersome. It makes traveling very difficult in the modern day, where you aren't going to set up a tent to eat in, right? You can go and pick up food and then go back and hide in your hotel room while the men go out and eat and enjoy themselves. Not that you're supposed to eat next to men who aren't mahram anyway, but still, it's constantly telling women that you are a source of all temptation. I mean, Muhammad did say that they're fitna, right? That they're being left as a fitna behind him. And just this incredibly negative view of women as these awful, dirty, sinful inherently, because the source of men's sin is in the woman. And it's so twisted and so messed up. But according to all the travelogues, if you talk, women who traveled throughout the Middle East from Europe from the 1600s onward would write about their experiences. And they said that the conversations of Muslim women was almost entirely obscene. It was all about sex. If it wasn't about kids, which everybody talks about, then the only other topic that they talked about was sex. But what else did they know? And what else did they think that they were for except sex?
MashaAllah. And the sex reminded me of sex. There is no slavery in Islam.
Ha! There's only slavery in Islam. How about
No,
that?
there's no slavery in Islam until there's no slavery in Islam until we go into details. Check this out.
يأتي الإماء والعبيد من الجهاد. الإماء والعبيد هم سبي الجهاد. وإذا كان الجهاد فالأسرى الذين يؤسرون في الجهاد الإمام مخير فيهم بين أربعة أمور.
When you do jihad, there's no slavery in Islam, but if you do jihad, you take captives. And when you take captives, there are 4 things that you can do with them. What are the 4 things? Check it out.
يخير الإمام. طبعا يخير بحيث أنه يجب عليه أن يفعل الأصلح.
And those 4 things, Imam will select based on what is best for the Muslims.
المسلمين يخير بين أربعة أمور. إما أن يقتل الأسرى.
So you kill the fighters. Okay, women and children are not fighters, obviously, they are still remaining. So you kill the fighters and put women and children in the sex slavery.
من المقاتلين وليس النساء والصبية والشيوخ والرهبان والعبيد. لا
See, no woman, no elderly people, no will be killed. So they will be put in slavery. So that's the point of the one.
I have a question about that. It's really interesting to say that no monks should be killed, because it did seem to be a pattern of the Islamic wars that many monks were killed.
No, this
frequently,
is one of the
all the times.
No.
But he's saying that only the fighters will be killed, and that's just a lie. And when we go to actual history, yeah,
Mary, you're not listening. That's just
okay.
One
option. Is another option to kill everybody?
Yeah, there are 4 options now.
Okay, we'll see if that's another option.
This is option number 1. So he can select any of these options. Okay. Now option number 2.
الأمر الثاني يجوز له أن يمن بمقابل.
This is what? Ransom, like Muhammad did before Badr. He can give it them back for ransom.
اللي هو الفداء. الثالثة أن يمن عليهم بدون فداء بدون مقابل.
Now third is release them without any money. Fourth is
الحالة الرابعة أن يسترق.
Enslave all of them. Enslave the men and the female. The first one, you don't enslave the men, you kill the men. You enslave the women, children and monks. Okay. Like you said, you can kill them and you can kill all of them. You can free them, you can enslave them, and you can actually pick multiple of that options, marry her. If we go into Sharia, you'll see you can pick multiple options depending on do this with this and do that with that. So you have multiple options that you can select as well. You can mix and match, I mean to say. You see what's happening here, marry her.
Yep.
Check this out. So once you have that slaves, what will you do?
سواء كانوا رجالا أو نساء، والرجال يكونون عبيدا والنساء يكون إماء. العبد هو المملوك، وهو ما استرق في الجهاد خاصة، لا يكون عبدا إلا من استرق، ولا يكون.
There you go. You cannot enslave a Muslim. You can only enslave non-Muslims. But a non-Muslim who becomes a slave, even if he accepts Islam, you cannot free him. Check this out. Next part.
المسلم عبدا، لا يجوز استرقاق المسلم، لا يسترق إلا الكافر.
Only kafir, non-Muslims can be enslaved.
الأمة إذا تزوجت لا يجوز لسيدها أن يطأها، خلاص انتهى الأمر.
Okay, if a slave girl is married to somebody, then you cannot have sex with her. Before that, you can have sex with her and marry her. How can a slave girl marry when you are the owner of that? See the next part.
If you choose to marry her to someone else. So someone can pay you to have sex with your slave girl, but she's still your slave girl, and he becomes married to her and has sexual access to her. That's why it says in the Quran that if you're poor, then you can marry those of the slaves. And what that means is that a poor man who can't even afford a slave of his own can have like bonus slave girls that a man doesn't care to sleep with, pay him so that he can have sex with her, and she counts as your wife then.
Oh,
and then the master won't sleep with him anymore.
He's gonna tell us. Check this out.
إذا تزوجت الأمة السيد.
Owner. He used the word owner. Owner can have sex with the slave girl when she's not married. And how will she marry?
يطأ أمته إذا لم تكن متزوجة، فإذا تزوجت انتهى الأمر، لا يجوز له أن يطأها. ولكن كما قلنا أنه لا يجوز الإنسان يتزوج الأمة ابتداءً.
A Muslim man cannot marry a slave girl. That's what he said. A Muslim man, listen very carefully. A Muslim man cannot marry a slave girl. Okay? A Muslim man cannot marry a slave girl. He has to marry a free woman, not a slave girl. But, like Allah said in Quran chapter number 4, lakin, but if he cannot find a free woman,
بحيث إنه لا يجد يعني أن يتزوج حرة، إما لا يجد حرة أو لا يجد المال الكافي أو لم يقبله أحد، ضاقت عليه الأمور، فلا مانع كما قال الله تبارك: فمن لم يستطع منكم طولا أن ينكح المحصنات المؤمنات مما ملكت أيمانكم.
Then you can marry a slave Muslim woman. So marry her. As you captured a girl, made her a slave, are having sex with her, but she accepted Islam. She is still not free. She is still your slave. Then if a Muslim man who does not have the means to marry a free girl, he can marry her if she is a Muslimah, not before she is not a Muslimah.
Yep, and then you don't have sex with her anymore. But something he's not saying here is that all the married women that are captured in slavery, they don't care about those marriages.
Oh, they
you
are
can
done.
have sex with her.
As soon as they're married, they are made slave. Their marriage, old marriages, is nullified.
Yep, according to Islam, and so they have adultery with women who are slaves. And that's fine with Allah, because Allah is mostly concerned about the penises of his followers. More than any other concern in Islam, the number one concern of Allah is for the comfort of the penises of the men who follow him.
My tea is a little late. Tea of the man.
I'm using technical vocabulary. I'm not saying rude things.
Tea. All right.
Would you prefer dingling? One of your silly, the dingling of his follower.
Let's see the last part. Let's see the last part. He may wed believing slave girl. Believing slave girl. So he has to marry only a believing slave girl. Before we move forward, Mary, I want to take this time to take some super chats before we move forward. And we have a guest as well. We'll take the guest in. Paroxima said, will Sharia value Sania more or less than the BITCH? Sania Mirza will have no value in Sharia. She will be put to jail or at least 100 lashes for sure. Reality of Islam said, good morning, Adam Bhai. Good morning to you as well. And Arun said, I can't even. I don't know what you said, I can't even for. It's an older super chat, so I'm so sorry about that. Maria, before we move forward and show this from Sharia, what this scholar said, let me bring up a Muslim who joined us, Mr. Munir Ahmed.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. And the way you actually stated this, how are you? It means you joined my Saturday live stream instead of today.
No, I want now. I want to talk right now because
You
I have many proofs to make you wrong.
to make me wrong. You can't
Yes,
make me
sir.
wrong. You can prove me wrong. So like
Yeah,
I said
yeah.
before,
I
your
will
English is
prove
not
you
good enough.
wrong.
Your English is
My
not good
English,
enough.
Alhamdulillah, my English is
It's pathetic.
improving.
Yeah, it's pathetic. So why don't you join my Urdu channel?
No, no. I want now. I want to talk on the topic.
Okay, talk on the topic.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, which
Okay.
specific thing that we have said is incorrect? Let's talk about
Hello.
slave girls. So
What?
in
So
Islam,
she asked, Maria, wait. She asked you something very simple. What
Okay,
specific thing is incorrect that is stated so far?
I will quote the Quran. You see.
Okay, quote the Quran. Today, please, before the rapture. Hello? Before the rapture, my friend.
Hello. Go to Quran
Uh,
1930, Surah 90, verse 13.
Surah 90, verse 13, 1 3.
Yeah. Go and check what
Okay.
Quran says about slavery.
What does it say about slavery? There you go.
Display the verse.
There you
Show
go.
the verse to everybody.
I'm showing the verse. Wait. There you go. Yes. What does it says?
Yeah. It says that free the slave.
Okay. When? It does not say free the slave. It says
it does
it
not. It's
is.
not a command.
It
No,
is saying it is the freeing of a slave. What is the
Yeah.
freeing of a slave?
What it means? It
It
means
does not mean
free.
it is incomplete. What is it mean?
It's a simple sentence. Why you not understand this?
it is
Okay.
not a sentence.
It says
It's a verb.
उर्दू में पढ़ो किसी गर्दन का छुड़ा देना क्या है?
Yeah.
What is it? किसी गर्दन का छुड़ा देना क्या है?
किसी गर्दन गर्दन यानी कि स्लेव
Okay, what
उसको
is it? क्या है? छुड़ा देना क्या है? What is it?
छुड़ा देना फ्री कर देना भाई
हाँ, what is it?
व्हाट इज इट
हाँ, क्या
मेक
है?
द
उससे क्या
स्लेव
होगा?
free the slave. It's a order from
It does
God
not
to
say
the
that. It
Muslim.
absolutely is not. You do not know Arabic, do
Okay.
you?
Okay, go to in tafsir. I will show you what what the verse says. Go to tafsir.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you
Do you
even
understand that that first word is a noun? Do you know what a noun is?
Yeah, why no?
Okay. Is
Noun.
it a verb or is it a noun?
Slave is a noun.
No, freeing. The word freeing.
Freeing is
Faku.
a verb.
No, it is not a verb. It is a noun. The freeing It's just an English translation.
Where
The freeing.
are you?
Faku is a noun, dude. Look at the oo ending. Even you can see that. Ooh,
Slave is
nominative.
a noun and freeing is a verb, madam.
No,
What
it is
are
not
you
a
saying?
verb. I know you don't
Okay,
know Arabic.
go
It is
to
not a
dictionary.
verb.
Go to
Oh,
dictionary. Go to dictionary. I will prove.
sweetheart, I can go here. Let's look at. Let
Okay,
me
Mary,
send you a
Mary,
link even for the
Mary,
slow
Mary,
folks.
Mary, let me
Hey,
fix this. Let me fix this. Let me fix this. Okay, let's see the tafsir. He said go to the tafsir. I'll go to the tafsir. Let's read Ibn Kasir. And he said, what is the goodness? Like I said, it's not a commandment for Muslim men to free their slaves. Check this out. But has not tempted to pass the path of the step. This means, will he not traverse upon the path which contains salvation and good? Then he explains the path. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْقَبَى. And when will make you the path that is steep, freeing the neck or giving food. What does that means? Imam Ahmad recorded from etc. And Abu Huraira said, the messenger said, whoever frees a believing slave, Allah will free for every limb of the slave one of his limb from the fire. So basically, this verse is saying that you have to get your Muslim slaves who are captured by non-Muslims, get them
where
free
is
so
written
that
that Muslim slaves? Where is Muslim?
get lost.
It says
Idiot.
believing.
Believing is Muslim, you stupid demonic being. So this is what is stupid and idiotic people comes up, and he said go to tafsir, and I went to tafsir. Let's read the tafsir first, then I'll bring him up. Freeing the believing slave, Allah will free one of your limb for every limb. This is to such an extent that he will free a hand of the hand, a leg for the leg, and private part for the private part. This is how they always bring private part. I don't know why they bring private part in everything. Ibn Hisham said, did you hear from this Abu Huraira? He said, yes. Then Ali said to a slave boy that he owned, call Mutafir. So when the slave was brought for him, go and you are free, face to Allah, and Bukhari and everything recorded that. Now, with that being said, you have to free a Muslim slave. You have to free a Muslim slave, not the non-Muslim ones, and get them free from the hands of kuffar. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna bring up a couple of more hadiths because Ibn Kasir brought up hadiths. So I'm gonna bring up some more hadiths. So Mr. Abu Dujanna, read what your Muhammad said. Muhammad said to his beloved wife, you know, Muhammad said to his beloved wife, you should have not freed these slaves. This is Sahih al-Bukhari. And by the way, you went to tafsir, and tafsir is actually quoting a hadith. So I'm gonna quote hadith as well because this is hadith now. We are going in hadith. One of the wife of Muhammad actually freed a slave. Kurub said the freed slave of Ibn Abbas, the Manuma bint Hamza, told that she has manumitted, means freed, a slave girl without taking the permission of the Prophet. On the day when it was her turn to be with Prophet, Muhammad has days for each and every wife of his. She said, do you know, O Allah Messenger, that I have manumitted, means freed, my slave girl? Muhammad said, he said, have you really? Did you really free her? She replied in affirmative, saying yes. He said, you would have gotten more reward if you had given her, the slave girl, to one of your maternal uncles. Muhammad is against freeing the slave. So you think Muhammad did not know what the Quran says? Or you think you understand Quran more than tafsir and more than hadith? Yes, sir. Yes, Munir Ahmed, aka Abu Dujanga.
I am Abu Dujana. Okay, okay. You not show me the Muslim, but I accept. Okay,
Okay, you accept? Perfect. Bye
you
bye.
are a believing.
Get lost. Idiot.
I have a question for you, Adam.
Yes.
Can you free a slave if you don't have any slaves to free? If you haven't gone and captured a bunch of people and then made their lives miserable until they say the shahada hada about Rasul la 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 la, If you don't do that, can you free them? Do you have any slaves to free?
Nope.
And can you get all the benefits of freeing a slave if you have not taken people in jihad, made their lives miserable, and forced them into converting into Islam then?
Nope.
Very interesting. So it seems like to get all of these benefits that you get from freeing a slave, you have to make them slaves first and
Exactly.
get them to accept Islam and then free them once they're willing to be joyful subjects of the corrupt Khalifa.
And then Quran actually says you don't have to just free them. Number one. Number two, Quran
Oh,
says
no, you don't have to.
Quran says that you can do makataba with them, means a written contract with them, if you find good in them. And if you don't find good in them, you don't have to free them. This is
Right, right.
Quran.
But
So
if you free a slave who is a deserving slave, then you get certain benefits. So, for example, if you wear gold jewelry, that will send you to hellfire. But then if you free a slave, like Fatima did whenever she found out that the gold jewelry that Ali had given her will send her to hellfire, she went and she bought a slave to free so that she wouldn't go to hellfire. So she used that slave as to get out of hell for free ticket. But you can do other things. You can feed some poor people or do this or do that. But specifically, the freeing of slaves is only available to you if you've made the slaves in the first place.
because if you have a slave, value of the slave is equal to feeding 10 people average food. That's it. So you
Yep.
have to feed 10 people. So let's say in the West, uh, a plate of average food would cost 10 pounds. So 10 multiplied by 10 is 100 pounds. That was the value of a slave back in those days. But let's read what Allah is saying. Allah is saying, but then who finds not marriage abstain until Allah enrich them his bounty, and those who seek contract from among whom your right hand possess, means your slaves, then make a contract with them if you know there is within them goodness. So this if makes changes everything. So it is not a compulsion for any Muslim to make a contract with a free woman that yes, sorry, a slave woman, that yes, you will make her free if she will give you enough money. So they and that then again the slave woman has to give them money and give them wealth and etc etc and etc etc etc. Now imagine this is what Allah is saying. It's not free, number one. Number two, if you find good in them, not all of them. Secondly, that verse is all about freeing a Muslim slave from a kuffar, let alone from a Muslim, in the major Islamic fiqhs. Let's see if we have somebody else. Mr. Indian Muslim.
What your Bible?
Okay, you're the same guy, different name. Okay, yeah, I told you go join my Urdu channel because your English is so pathetic. I cannot wait till the rapture for you to comprehend what I'm saying in English. So join my Urdu channel. I will speak with you there. And my Urdu
I'm
stream is
sure
every Saturday. You know
I'm
me.
sure that the Hindi translation of the Quran also has that as a noun. So maybe he will understand that slightly better than either the English or the Arabic because he understood neither. It's like it's a command. I'm like, it's not even a verb.
No, there are. This guy is an idiot. He like
Yes.
I have stopped talking with him in Urdu anyways as well because of his idiotic things. He comes up without any evidence. He speaks things without any context. Just like Khomeini just posted a Twitter post, a part of a verse, not even the full verse. He tweeted a part of the verse, and I showed it in my tweet. Let me go to my Twitter. Let me show you as well. Very important. This is very important, and why I did that, this is also very important. Check this out. So what he did was, let me zoom in, and this is how they deceive. Read, oh my goodness, I was typing and I did not read ra, I missed an a. Read from chapter number 2 verse number 276 till 280. They deceived by taking part of the verse to spread their false propaganda, and most of them just accept their lies. And this is Khomeini, his original Twitter account, and he says Quran's lesson for human relation is do not oppress and do not be oppressed. 279, chapter number 2, verse number 279. 279, 280, this is all about interest, taking interest out of your money, not in generic sentence. And his tweet, check this out, his tweet is retweeted 2,200 times. 2,200 times. And people are accepting his stupidity because these people don't even go and verify what this idiot is saying, whether he's saying it right or wrong. So you
Well,
read
it's
the whole context. Wait, just give me a second. You
yeah,
read the whole context of it and you will see what it is. It's about interest.
it's
Let's
about
check this out.
riba.
Riba. Allah destroys interest and give increase of charity, and Allah does not like every sinner disbeliever. Chapter, verse number 277, it says, indeed, those who believe and do righteous things, establish prayer and give zakah, and will have their rewards with their Lord, and there will be no fear concerning them, nor will they grieve. This is the next verse. And 278, O you who have believed, fear Allah and give up what remains of your interest. So if you have given money in interest, leave it. Don't take more interest if you are believers. And then the next verse 279 comes up, and he took the last part of it only, this part. And if you do not leave your interest, the remaining interest, then be informed of a war. Then you have a war against Allah and his messenger. But if you repent, if you say Toba and say, I don't take more interest, you may have your principle. Thus, hence, you do not wrong, nor you are wrong. And this is what they are propagating in a falsified, idiotic manner. The verse of riba, interest, that's what they're doing. Now tell me, Mary, what would you like to say?
That's just cracking me up. That is just like where they go to that to kill a soul is to kill all mankind. Whenever the context is why you should kill all the Jews. The actual context of the verse is that the Jews are spreading corruption in the land. So it has that quote from the Talmud plus the or spreading corruption. If you kill someone for without cause, or for if they have not killed someone, or if they are not spreading corruption in the land, then you are doing these things. The context of that verse is kill all the Jews. That's the actual context. And they pretend that the context is like, oh, don't kill anyone, when the actual context is literally the opposite. So that's another great one. They just have no shame about distorting the Quran. It's almost like they take a part and then they throw a part behind their backs, or they twist it with their tongues, would you say?
Exactly, because Allah is the Khairul Makirin. So the Khairul Makirin, the follower of Khairul Makirin, the best of all deceivers, they have to be the same, because that's Khairul Makirin in itself. The one who follows a deceiving God, the followers will also by default be deceivers. That's how it works. There's no other way. There's no other way. You cannot be a good person if you follow a God who is a deceiver in itself. And then again, Shukeen Kafir said, this is Abu Dujanga, desperate to save Muhammad. Abu Dujanga can never save Muhammad. That's the problem with Abu Dujanga, and he's an idiot. He doesn't even have a brain. I don't know why he comes up with have a discussion with me. He doesn't have any brain which can have any logical argument that he can ever bring up. But anyhow, thank you so very much. And Shokeen Kafir said, people from Pakistan are there at all ex-Muslim channels trying helplessly to defend their prophet? People from Pakistan are there. I don't know. This sentence is going very, very wrong. At all.
So the people from Pakistan are there at all the ex-Muslim channels trying helplessly to defend their prophet. They can't believe that they've been fooled.
Oh, yep.
You just have to read it with a different kind of pauses. I think it makes more sense.
Yeah, guys, please, yeah, if you are writing a long sentence, at least put some punctuation marks so that I would know where something ends and where something brings. Punctuation marks are very important. Okay, English is my third language, anyways. You guys know that. So help me read your English. Put some punctuation marks so that I could comprehend as well in a nice manner if your sentence has multiple punctuations in it. So thank you so very much. Yes, but yet again, Islam is a peaceful religion, right, Mariher?
Yeah, which is why you have threats in your chat
Oh, I
for
have so
that
many threats in
goofball.
my chat. Oh, people come up and say give threats to me. But check this out. Is
Yeah.
it a peaceful religion? There's a Western guy called Mimi Hijab. In
Oh yeah.
2018, 2019, 2020, and 21, he's been saying in Speaker's Corner, Islam is peace, left, right, and center.
Did he really used to say that? How interesting.
But then comes to 24, when they are more in number. Check what he's saying.
You have to fight them is because they are Jews and Christians. You should fight those empires around you, or those hukumat around you, which are Jew or Christian, until they give the jizya. That's fine. That we already know Islam allows. And then the howness of that is in the hadith. The three options that they're given: either you give the jizya, or you do this, or you do that. Yeah, we're not apologetic about that point. That's
We are not a So now when they are more in number, they are proclaiming it. Yes, we gotta do that, and we will do that. Now check this out. Check further.
that is truth. If your religion has to have an expansionist element, so then therefore there is no situation or conceivability of peace being made between Muslims and non-Muslims. Islam is a war.
Well, you see that there is no lying in Islam except the lies that you say to please your wife, which basically covers, family relations. So there are lies of family relations. The lies that you tell to bring peace between brothers. So any lie that settles things down among Muslims, and the lies that you tell your enemies essentially because they're your enemies, which is everybody else. So there's no lying in Islam except for any time when it is beneficial to the community to lie, then you can lie. But that's not lying, because no lies except for pretty much every circumstances where you'd want to.
Absolutely.
And then you have to. You're required to lie to benefit Islam.
That is so right. That is so right. Islam allowed lying. Hey, Mary Her, you had done a couple of debates. Would you like to share your channel with everyone else as well? Because a couple of people said, what's your channel?
Oh, so I'm on Reasoned Answers, was where I stream, because I don't stream on my own channel. He covers all of the thumbnails and letting people know and stuff, because it takes too much work. So I
think you had a called Too Many Marys, wasn't it?
I do. I'm Too Many Marys. And that is my actual channel, but I'm usually on Thaddeus's, which is Reasoned Answers. I have not posted on my own for years, but here, let me. You can stick this in the chat.
So this
for
is
folks.
Reasoned Answer. This is Reasoned Answer. You'll see David Wood over there. You'll see a few of the other people over there as well. Reasoned Answers actually brings up a lot of people, including Mary Herb over there, which her old name is Too Many Marys. And so anybody who would like to see English debates as well, Reasoned Answer channel is grown pretty dramatically in the past couple of weeks, past couple of years. And he's doing a great job, awesome job, by bringing up so many people and doing many interactive videos. But while we go there, let's watch again
Islam
what he
is
says
a
more.
warrior religion in many ways.
Warrior
religion.
Unapologetically,
so it's
unapologetic.
about expansion, it's about conquest and so on.
Now, legally, when Muslims live in places like Britain, for example, which feel legally we would classify Britain as Darul Harb, right? Which is, if you
Darul Harb means
the House
of War, right? House of War.
Translated, it's abode of war.
The kuffar from Dar al-Harb, there can never be a permanent treaty with the kuffar.
So you go to the West, there cannot be a treaty with Darul Harb people.
Because it cancels out jihad. It can't be forever. When Muslims get stronger, and it's a benefit for the Muslims, they inform the enemy this treaty has come to an end.
So basically, in the West, they are coming up. They are migrating left, right, and center to the West. They know that now they are in peace because they are not enough. Once their power will be enough, once they are superior enough, when they have enough power, then they will say there is no treaty, this land is ours, get lost or give jizya. This is what they are doing to the West. Why can't you comprehend? Why can't you guys understand? You stupid, idiotic, secular of the Western countries. Read and learn at least before your children becomes the slave of these people. Why don't you why can't you read what they are saying? Why can't you read what the Quran says? Chapter number 47, verse number 35. Do not go for peace when you are the uppermost. Chapter number 47, verse number 35 of the Quran itself. They are proclaiming it with their own mouth. The Quran says that. How many years more will you wait? There are riots happening everywhere in the world because of this stupid, idiotic one book. And you are still not accepting it that this book is all about fighting, killing, slavery, and all of that. I get amazed.
Yeah, and it is truly the dumbest book that has ever been written. I laugh every time I read it because I find something so much more stupid than I had remembered the last time I read it. I am doing, for those who know, Adam put in the chat a link to Reason Answers. My next stream is on Tuesday, and it is on why I'm refuting Jay Smith and his theory that Muhammad never existed. And the reason I'm refuting him is because his theory is that intelligent people in service of an emperor wrote the Quran. And I'm going to prove that the Quran is so stupid, it could have only come from the mind of a backwater barbarian. And therefore, Muhammad existed because it could not have come from educated people. It could not have been an intelligent composition. It has to have been, and it was made up as it went along. It cannot be eternal. It cannot be from intelligent people. It is from a very stupid person in a stupid place saying stupid things. And that is what I'm going to prove for you guys looking at Surah 73 on Tuesday.
Mary, you give too much information beforehand. But anyhow, now that you have given in, I can't do much about it. But you give too much information. I would never give in this information until the people are there and
it was
watching.
actually streaming. Yeah.
So
well, yeah, most of the people in the chat are Christian.
But you give too much information. That's the problem. So don't give too much Christian.
Don't give too much away.
Information. Yeah, you don't do that. The whole thing is you are supposed to prove. But anyhow, you already said it.
Do the tease only. Well, we will try to do the tease only at the beginning, and we will work through the argument as we go on. But it's just so stupid. It's such a dumb book, and it just baffles me. And the reason why people believe it is because even if you speak Arabic, whenever you say something like this, and you say it really slowly, your brain doesn't take in the actual words, only the sounds. And so most Arabic speakers who are who actually even go to their Friday mosque meeting and they listen to a recitation, they don't know what these words are one from the next, verse after verse. They can't connect the verses to one another because it's said too slowly and in too elaborate of a way. And that's why you have to say it like that. If you read it, just reading the words out in a very sensible way so that they can be understood, the stupidity of it hits you in the face. But whenever you make it all fancy and stuff and you put on the reverb to try and make it sound like all special, people get fooled. If you just sit and read it, it's the dumbest book ever.
Absolutely, I fully agree. Check this out. This is why they want Sharia, and they are going to get Sharia if the seculars will not understand. So the seculars, the atheist, agnostics, who are dumb fool idiots, because of their secularism. Check what they are saying now on the internet.
Britain is Darul Harb because they are, anathema to God's law. They're not implementing it. They're violating His sanctity, and therefore, this is war against Allah and His Messenger. We are obliged as Muslims to take the authority away from the people who have it and implement the Sharia. Now, I hope that can come in a very peaceful way. I hope that we can do that in a way, where there's no bloodshed.
So that is why they want Sharia, and they want to do it in a peaceful way if they can. Obviously, if they can't, then there will be bloodshed. Now, what is this white guy answer?
Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that if the Muslims have authority and they have the ability to remove oppression, they must remove the oppression. So we believe man-made law is oppression.
Man-made law is oppression. So imagine, Mary Herb, they moved from their Islamic countries to a country where there are man-made laws. Now, for the last 50 years, they were quietly increasing their numbers by giving birth to hundreds and thousands of children every month. Now they have enough power and a lot of migrations happening. They brought every Muslim there. Now they are saying, what? I won't say that. I won't even repeat that. Let him say that.
Ability to remove oppression. They must remove the oppression. So we believe man-made law is oppression because they are implementing non-Islamic law.
There you go. Why can't they get the hell out? Go back to where Sharia is. Why do they want Sharia in this country?
I honestly hope that we get a little bit jihadi action where it really counts toward the elites rather than the common people. Because right now, the common people of the UK have been under attack, literal assault by jihadis for 30, 40 years now. Literal assault. But it hasn't affected the people in power. So I would really like to see the jihadis focus on the people who matter. A little bit of jihadi action against the structures that are the ones that are benefiting them right now. So
I don't know what to say. But there is another type of jihad that is going on right now. Have you heard of love jihad?
Oh yeah. You get stupid white girls. Oh yes. Men try to love jihad me all the time, although I have been sent
No, nobody
20
can love jihad you.
penises
I know that. You can
for
cut the penises of
every
their testicles.
threat. Yes.
Yeah, you can cut them off. I chop them off. But there is a road jihad as well. Do you know about road jihad?
About which one?
Road jihad.
Road jihad?
No.
Oh
After
yeah.
love jihad, there is road jihad. This is Denmark. They're blocking the road to offer prayer. Why can't they go? Why can't they just go a little left on the ground and offer prayer in the ground or the
I would let
sidewalk?
my black dog come up to them. That would be hilarious.
Why are they on the road? Why can't they just move the left or right on the sidewalk and pray on the sidewalk? Why it has to be on the road? Why road?
Because they want to shove the dhimmis to the side of the road.
You know what Jesus said in the Bible about praying in the corners on the streets? What did he say? You remember that verse?
He said, "Go to your inner room. Do not pray as the hypocrites do." So Muslims pray as the hypocrites do.
Do not pray like the hypocrites do, who pray on the roads, on the street corners to show everyone that they are praying. Isn't that so? Isn't it biblical? Like during the time of Jesus Christ, Islam wasn't even there. Yet he knew that there will be people who will come up and who will do this road jihad to show everyone that they. But you know why they do that? They don't do it because they are worshipping Allah. They are doing this to show their power. You need to comprehend why they are doing that, Mary Her. They are doing this to show their power, to show that they are more in number right now.
Absolutely.
It has nothing to do with Allah. It has nothing to do with spirituality. It has nothing to do with worshipping. It is
They don't do
all
this
about showing
nonsense
their
in
power.
Islamic countries. In Islamic countries, the traffic continues on during the prayer time.
Exactly.
And no one can pretend that it doesn't. It continues on. Nobody's getting in the street. They're getting in the street here to be obnoxious, offensive, and to flex and show how powerful they are.
Exactly. If anybody needs all of these videos, they are in my Twitter account. I have posted them. I'm showing just a few of my posts. Check this out. You know, democracy is real evil. Check this out. This is once again a Westerner UK scholar.
The government by people. The government by people. That the legislators are human beings, not the creator of human beings. That is democracy. So if you mean by democracy that you come up with your own law and then you punish people according to this own law, if you call this democracy, then Islam outright rejects that. Because this kind of democracy entails injustice to human beings. You don't know what is suitable for them. Allah knows. Allah knows. So if you go on to contradict and oppose the revelation of Allah, then we say no democracy.
Why the hell did he migrated to a democratic country? Like, if they want Allah's law, go to Afghanistan, go to Indonesia, go to Pakistan. He actually came from there. He wasn't even born here. He's not
because
even
they're hellholes. Because no one wants to live in an actual Islamic country.
Why does he wants to make this country as hellhole as well? So if he moved out of hellhole, why does he wants to make this country as hellhole as well?
Because whenever he's not there, he can pretend that it's not a hellhole. When he's not living there, he can pretend that it can be all of the beautiful things that it is in his mind. That is why I firmly believe that every Muslim should be required to live under the strictest Sharia law to live in a Western country. That ought to be a requirement. If you identify as Muslim, and if you leave Islam, then you are no longer there. So any penalty that might apply to you no longer applies. But as long as you identify as a Muslim, you should have to live in exact accordance with Sharia.
So I have another question. In Islam, what is the punishment of being a gay if you are found out gay?
Yeah, being which?
What?
What the punishment of which? Sorry, I didn't hear it.
Being a gay, homosexual.
Well, it depends on where you are and when you are, but throwing you from a building is one. Another is a bunch of lashes and some. Gently beating you with shoes. Women, though, are definitely locked up in their rooms until they die. Because that's in the Quran. That if you don't kill them some other way.
If you wait. Let me make it very clear. If you openly proclaim that you are a gay, what is your punishment now?
Oh, that's definitely death.
Are you sure?
If you're a woman, absolutely. If you're a man,
absolutely
they play around
well.
because
as well. If you're openly proclaiming it, then absolutely death. If you're openly proclaiming it, then absolutely death. Let's check this out. This girl / guy is a gay for Gaza. Why is he wanting he / she? I don't know. They, them. I don't know. There's so many pronouns nowadays. So he, she, they, them, thou is proclaiming to be. No, he has boobs. You know, he has boobs. So.
I think they might be fake.
Okay, he has fake boobs.
Is that I can't even tell if that's a man for sure. I'll have to wait for it to show up on the mainstream. That might actually be a biological woman. Just a very unfortunate one. Poor thing. Anyway, oh dear. Anyway, I don't know
what he is or she is, but
I would happily transport this person to Gaza, and I will pay for a one-way ticket to the Islamic country of their choice, as long as they promise not to come back. And they can live their happy gay lives.
They will not. They will not come back. As soon as they go there, they'll be killed by the Islamic government of Gaza already, namely Hamas. So you know you don't have to worry for them to come back at all, because you know that's the end of it. And there are another Muslim group who are saying this, but you have to say that these are also Muslims. He's saying just like us, Allah is gay as well. But if you say that,
I would love for them to be transported to one of many Islamic countries with their sign translated into the local language.
By the way, anyone who wants to see all of these beautiful Twitter posts that I've done and many more, which I cannot even show over here because of the YouTube laws. YouTube laws are very strict. X does not have these kind of laws, thanks to Elon Musk, who bought Twitter and moved 80%. He slashed 80% of the employees of Twitter because he said, I do not want a company which dictates and destroys the freedom of speech. So anybody can say whatever they want to say. This is their freedom. So in X, you have a lot of freedom to show, a lot of freedom to speak, and I support X. And hence, that is why a lot of my stuff is on X. If you want to see these small videos, small tweets, small these kind of things, and a lot of other which does not follow the YouTube policy. I have only shown you some of them, some of the things which are according to the YouTube policy, not the rest of them. So go and follow me on Twitter, which is X nowadays. And there is somebody who is Islam. Hey, join in. The link is there. Link is pinned. Click on the link and join in and prove us what we are saying is wrong. Anything that we have said in the past about gays, about homosexuals, about everyone, about Sharia, about hijab, about anything. And if you think Sharia is good and you want Sharia, come up. Come up if you want Sharia, because if you want Sharia, I want to talk to you. I want to show you Sharia so that you and I can come on the conclusion and see whether you really want Sharia or not. So that is why I would like you to come up and tell me if you want Sharia. Because, if you want Sharia, then at least tell me that you want Sharia. I won't debate you. I just want you to come up and tell me that you are Sharia al-Islam. I don't know, whatever al-Islam is. Considino al-Islam. Okay.
Oh, conocí, that means knowing Islam. It's Ruth. She is a Spanish speaker, and she is anti-Islamic. So
damn, man.
she has a Spanish channel.
I don't know Spanish, so sorry about that. So you can stay in the chat. Don't worry.
So conociendo means meaning or understanding, getting to know, understanding or getting to know Islam. And so
All
she
right.
has like a
I
Christian
am sorry
channel.
about the confusion. Because of your confused name, I became a confused person as well. Sorry about that. And then we have a confused guy here as well. And before we talk to a confused guy, Pink Panther, my favorite character when I was a child, said, was Muhammad a closed, how
A
do you pronounce that
closeted
word?
gay person, a closeted gay person is what he's
When
asking.
you know what? Oh, Mary, which channel were you on last time when we spoke about Muhammad was gay?
That was on Reason Answers.
No. We were on another channel.
Oh wait, no, that's right. That was on Your Brother in Christ. That's right.
Your
Your
brother
Brother
in
in
Christ.
Christ channel.
So you go to this channel called Your Brother in Christ. Hold on. Your Brother in Christ. So you go to this channel and check the last live stream, and you will see that Muhammad was gay. And yes, Pink Panther, you are actually right over here. So I will send the link. Go to this channel, and you will see that I was there with Mary her when 2 days ago, I think, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around that 2 days ago. Mr. Yogi, thank you so very much for your super sticker. Appreciate it, brother. GR said Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya to you as well, my friend. Thank you. Appreciate it. Mr. Confused, how are you? Mr. Confused, unmute
How
yourself.
about you, my brother? Where are you from?
I'm from Mars. Can you please speak nicely and politely and in a proper language so that we could have a nice
Yeah,
conversation?
brother, my language, my voice is like this.
Why are you in my English channel where you can't even speak English?
I am
I'm struggling
speaking
too.
English, brother. Why you not?
Please join my Saturday stream. We'll speak in Hindi Urdu over there. Please join. Like, you don't have to join my English channel if you can't even comprehend what we are saying. Please don't disturb us. If you know English, if you can understand English, if you can speak English enough, just enough that you can comprehend us, that you can convey your message in English,
I
please
think that may
join.
be Abu Durjana
No,
speaking in a
that's a
high-pitched
separate.
voice,
No,
or is
that's a
that
different
somebody
guy.
else? You think it
That's
is
a
a
different
different guy?
guy.
Okay. Yeah.
I have so many. This Sayyid guy, yes, Nicodemus, you're right. This is Sayyid.
Ha!
Sayyid guy. So these are my regulars in my Urdu channel. I usually don't give them enough time because in my Urdu channel, because
Oh,
I have very nice guests over there whom we get nice discussions. These guys are idiots. They have no brain, they have no logic, they have no talk, they have no reference, they have no data. But they keep on coming up. I don't know why. I have no idea why they do that.
I
Like
think that might be the Saeed that I've spoken to before. It takes some effort to listen to him, and he doesn't understand anything. I don't think he'd understand in any language. I don't think it's just the English. I think it's just his brain. But yeah, we have so we had our buddy Ultimate Fart on the other day, and he
I
got
have blocked maybe 20 of it.
massively upset at me explaining his argument slowly enough that other people could understand it. Because what he tries to do is say some stuff in Arabic really, really fast, and then lie about it, and then twist things around. And so he was trying to say that utul al-kitab, which means
Utul
they
Kitab.
was given what not ahl but utul, that they were given the book, somehow means that it's about the Quran and it's about Muslims. And he tried to pretend that it didn't mean given but meant something else, and it was absolutely ridiculous. So he tries to speak really, really fast and then make wild claims. So he's trying to say that when the people who will be certain by the angels being 19 are actually Muslims who have been given the Quran, not Jews and Christians.
Ultimate Fart is one of the worst stupid idiotic person in the history of stupid idiotic person. So guys, if you know this Abu Dujanga guy, Fart is stupider. Is there an English word called stupider
Yes, there is.
or
That
stupider?
is.
That is
Yep,
the word.
stupider
Perfect.
is correct. Yes.
Ultimate Fart is stupider than Abu Dujanga because at least because he follows Rashid Khalifa as well. So he is a Muslim who follows a very minority Muslim opinion, which is a Rashid Khalifa's opinion, which was killed by the Sunni Muslim majority Sunni Muslims. So he is a Rashid Khalifa follower, and then again he comes up and try to debate us while he should debate all the Muslims because none of the Muslims claim them to be a Muslim anyways. So he is the utmost stupid idiotic person that I have ever have a discussion with, and I did a couple of discussions, and it is just unbelievable how stupid this guy is.
Well, I am so glad that Rashad Khalifa came around to restore the true Quran, which was evidently partly missing for 1400 years until he came around and through his magical knowledge of 19 was able to edit it and correct the mistakes in it that Allah didn't really care about for all that time.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Exactly.
Makes sense to me.
Pink Panther said, "Thanks goodness that the Imam said to not wear gloves. That shows the shape of your hands, the latex type. I thought he would say wear gloves. He did said wear gloves. Pink Panther, watch again. He said the hands are making men lustful towards you. So you because you are not wearing gloves. So you did not hear that properly, I think.
Well, he did
I'm
say
sorry.
if your gloves, if they can see your gloves, so you have to wear gloves, but you should also make sure that men don't see your gloves. I thought that's what he was saying. That he could see you.
No,
that
he
men.
said if you go back and it says they see your hand without gloves. Without gloves.
Without
That's what he
gloves.
said.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And why is it that every individual promoting inhumanity or incorrect teaching is universally condemned, while all terrorist teachings are erroneous interpretations within Islam are deemed acceptable? How will I
Terrorist
state that?
interpretations aren't erroneous.
They
They're
are
correct.
actually correct. They are the correct interpretation according to Imam Al-Qurtubi, Imam Al-Tibri, Imam Ibn Kasir, Imam Jalaluddin As-Sayyuti, Ibn Abbas, and so many all the early scholars. So the interpretation of all the terrorists of the world are actually accurate according to the first 800 years after the death of Muhammad. All the scholars unanimously agree with all the terrorists of the world.
And all you have to do is read it yourself with a lick of sense. If you are a literate human being who can see the words in front of your face, That is also the conclusion that you would come to if you have any idea about the order in which the Quran was created. Otherwise, it would just be extremely contradictory and incoherent. But once you have the help of external literature to the Quran, because the Quran itself is defective, once you have all of that external help and you know what order it's in, then anyone who is literate would come to the same conclusion. Anyone who doesn't is just lying. They want it to be something else, so they lie about it. They lie to themselves and they lie to other people.
I agree with you. Then we have Trendo Tube, who said, those who want Sharia needs to understand Sharia will put Sharia in their asses. Don't run away then. Know that you are asking. You know what Sharia is in Hindi?
No. Nope.
You know, when they are making tall buildings, and in the tall buildings they have cement, concrete, and in
the
concrete
rebar?
there are bars of iron.
Oh, it's the rebar. That's
Okay,
that's hilarious.
that's called Sharia. So he's saying, if you want Sharia, don't. He said, those who want Sharia needs to understand that Sharia will put Sharia, which is rebars, in their asses. So don't run away then. Know that you are asking for it. All right. Yep, that is what it is. Now let's move forward. You know what Sharia is. The problem with these idiots, useful idiots, let me just say the word useful idiots, they don't know what Sharia is, and they have never studied Sharia. Mary, I get so mad at them that all of these idiots who want Sharia, they have never read Sharia. Why? Like, has it ever occurred to you that you want something that you have never seen? You want something that you have never heard? You want something that you have never read? You want something that you have, like, how can you want something that you don't know about?
They are told that it is the best, the purest, it gives the best results for the best society. And they're told, oh, it's just Europe keeping down the Islamic nations. In reality, the only reason the Islamic nations were rich for a long time is because they took a big chunk of money from Europe every single year whenever Europe had to buy, wanted to buy spices or silk or anything else. They had to give a lot of money to the Islamic countries, but the Islamic countries were never self-sustaining. They never had a society. The European society produced extra to be able to import these foreign things. But their society didn't produce extra. Their society was a leech that needed to suck the blood from Europe and from the Far East. The Far East made things that the people in Europe wanted, and the people in Europe had money, and so they took a chunk of it. But they have this mythical idea that it was just this evil colonialism that oppressed them, and really their society is going to be wonderful. It's like the women who are taught that, oh yes, you have to cover, but you need to cover. Don't you understand? The best men are Muslim men. And what would Muslim men do to you if you went out uncovered? Why, they would rape you. So if even the best men in the world would do that, then imagine how much worse it is and how much worse the other men are. So it's this whole fantasy of what's good and what's bad and the reasons for things. And they're encouraged not to look into things. You're supposed to be a stupid follower of the people in authority in Islam. You're not supposed to read it yourself. You're just supposed to blindly open. You're not even supposed to know whether or not a particular jurist is doing Sharia law correctly. You're just supposed to obey because you are below these jurists, and they're the only ones with the authority to read it, study it, whatever, and tell you what it is. And if they tell you it's good, you're supposed to believe that too.
Absolutely. With that being said, there was a Pakistani girl, and let me give you what you are saying. There was a Pakistani woman who came back from, I think, Australia, if I'm not mistaken. And she was with her 2 children. Okay. She was with her France. So the Australian woman, a Francis Australian Muslim Pakistani woman, came back to Pakistan and with her two children. She was traveling motorway. Motorway is like a highway. Okay, Pakistan has very limited highways. We call them motorways. So she was traveling through a motorway, and during her travel, I think her tire busted or punctured or something like that. She put the car on the side. She called the police. Before the police could come in, there are a couple of people who came in, stopped in front of her car, raped her, gang raped her in front of her two children. And you know what the Punjab police SP, superintendent of police, said?
It was her fault, most likely.
He said, why and how could she travel alone without a male partner at night? It's her fault.
Yep. And remember that according to Islam, these are the best men. They cannot, women are told that they should not imagine any man is better than this. And the rates of sexual abuse that little girls experience inside their own households before they're even grown up is so high. So high as well. It's terrifying, but they're told these are the best men. So imagine what they think that other men must be like if these are supposed to be the best. Of course, they're not really. They're terrible. They're terrible, but they're lied to and they're told that these are the best.
Exactly. They had lied about. Check this out. At around 3 a.m. on 9 September, the woman ran out of fuel, and I said, tire busted, I'm sorry. She ran out of fuel on motorway leading out of the eastern city of Lahore. Her two children were with her. She called her relatives in Gujranwala, who advised her to call the motorway emergency number and also set her off for help. According to the complaint registered with the police by one of the woman's relatives, the car was broken into by two men in their nearly mid 30s, stole her money and jewelry she had on her. They raped her in front of her two children in the nearby field and then escaped. And you know what the SP said? Superintendent of police. He said it's her fault. Like like how how can um, how can you even say that?
Because Islam is a religion for men's lusts. It's not a religion of justice, goodness, anything else. It's about getting men to kill the enemies of Muhammad and promising them sex in return and pleasure. So of course it's her fault. We're not going to hold men accountable for their behavior. No. She would never have the requisite number of witnesses anyway.
Absolutely.
How on earth could she get the 4 witnesses? Not possible.
She cannot. And but then Trender Tube said all the non-Muslims, Christian, atheists, agnostic, Hindus, Jews, etc., must join hands against Islam and Sharia. Keep your differences aside for the love of humanity and future generation. Trender Tube, I cannot agree with you more. Literally speaking. If atheists, agnostics have their internal problems, they can deal with it in a nice debating manner without any problem. They can debate Christians without any problem. Hindus, Jews, Christians, atheists, agnostic, Buddhist, everyone else in the world, they can have a reasonable discussion, nice discussion and arguments. And they can have the best of the best arguments which can lead everyone to the truth. But when you talk about these Muslims, they always lie because Muhammad said war is deception. So lie during war. And war
Yep.
is of 3 types: war of the heart, which is with yourself, war of the sword, which is when you are fighting in the field of battle, and war of lisan means the tongue, means the war of debating. Because you are having a debate with the mentality of other person who's gonna lie, then how can you have a debate unless you know each and every aspect of Islam? Like, when the Muslims come up and lie with to me, you know what I say? Give me the evidence, give me the evidence. And you have seen it in the past. if you are following me for some time, especially in my Urdu channel, that is where I do most of my debates, they can never bring up the evidence because they were lying. Either their scholars has lied with them, or they themselves were lying, because they do not have the evidence. They just keep on propagating the lies again and again and again and again. That's the problem. You cannot have a reasonable debate slash discussion with them. So yes, and I urge each and every one of them, if your ideology, theology does not propagate you to lie, you can have a very nice discussion with me. But if you are a Muslim, 99% of the time, you will never have a nice discussion with me. That's the problem. That is the problem. And you're right on your money, man.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I've mentioned before that if a Muslim tells me it's raining, I would go outside and check. Tell me that the sky is blue, I would check that too. I can't trust anything that they say. It doesn't matter. I've had Muslims swear up and down that the Hafs, who was the Hadith reciter and the stealer of books, was not the Hafs who was the reciter of the Quran, and that is absolutely untrue. They are the same person. They're the same Hafs, but they'll say anything, and you cannot trust any word that comes out of their mouths. But the funny thing is, they can't trust any word that their imam says either, because again, you should lie to bring peace between brothers, right? So lying to make other Muslims happy and to tell them like nice stuff that makes them feel good is baked into Islam. You cannot have Islam without lying to your wife and lying to friends and lying to enemies and lying to everyone. You can trust nothing that you don't verify.
Absolutely. Like, absolutely right on spot. That's the problem. That is the problem. They just keep on lying again and again. And why do they lie? Because lying is an integral part of Islam. And I've shown that many times. I can show it right now as well. Hold on, give me a sec, and I will show you that in the Sharia, it is mentioned to lie.
It is
In the Sharia.
obligatory to lie in many circumstances.
Yeah, and there is a full chapter in the Sharia which says permissible lying. How can you follow a book which talks about permissible lying? How can you follow a book which tells you that there is a permissible lying? Check this out. This is Reliance of Traveler again. Let me just zoom in. There is lying, and then there comes the subsection permissible lying. Permissible lying. The Prophet gave us, he who settles disagreement between people to bring about good or say something commendable is not a lie. Say something commendable means a good thing is not a lie. This much is related by both Bukhari and Muslim. And then I did not hear him permitting untrue in any things except for three things. Means during war, during settling disagreement, and a man talking to his wife or a wife talking to him. Let's read. The best analysis of it that I have seen, this is Imam Shafi seen is by Imam Abu Hamid al-Ghazali. Ghazali is one of the most famous scholar in Islamic fiqh, who said, speaking is a mean to achieve objectives. If a praiseworthy aim is attainable through both telling the truth and a lie, it is unlawful to accomplish it through lying, because there is no need for it. But when it is possible to achieve such an aim by lying, but not by telling the truth, it is permissible to lie if attaining the goal is permissible. That is, when the purpose of lying is to circumvent someone who is preventing one from doing something permissible, and obligatory to lie if the goal is obligatory. Now, this is the problem.
Exactly. Go ahead.
No, you're right on spot. I just finished it. So
yeah, and
basically,
then
hmm. Yes, please.
Yeah, and that is why you can't trust anything. And someone just asked in a super chat, do
Yes, there's
Muslims
super chat.
view Islam as the ultimate truth or fear sharing their views for safety? Is it vital to prioritize truth over personal safety for humanity? And Islam corrupts the very concept of what truth is. Muhammad was called the truthful one, supposedly, before he decided he was a prophet. But in the context of that society, truthful meant saying flattering things and not deceiving people who are related to you and you have kinship bonds with. Like, it didn't actually mean truthful in any sense that we would understand truthful, and it doesn't in Islam today either. So their entire concept of truth is warped and skewed and twisted. And so back in the time of Aesop's fables, one of the fables said that Hermes, who is the god of thieves and trickery, among other things, that he went around with a cart full of lies, giving lies to the various peoples of the earth to give them each their share of deception until he came to the Arabs. And when he came to the Arabs, the cart tipped over and all the rest of the deceit fell out. And that's why Arabs are the biggest liars in the world to this day. And this was in like 500 BC or something like that. Nothing changed since then. Over and over again in ancient sources, before Christianity even, they'll talk about what liars Arabs are. But in their own minds, lying is like tricking your relatives who you owe things to, like betraying people that you shouldn't betray. You can betray other people, and then you're still the truthful one. So they have this very skewed view of reality. And because Islam is just barbaric Arab paganism with a quick bad paint job on top of it of monotheism, that's how they still are. They do not have a fundamental concept of what truth telling is.
You're right on the money. Let's put this one in context as well from the Sharia, because you said something. Let me show it to you from Sharia. Check this out. If one swears, I will not enter the house, but then does so absent-mindedly, in ignorance of it being the house, under compulsion, or by being carried in, then the one's oath is not broken. So somebody said, Mary Herb said, I will not enter my house today. And then Mary Herb says, hey Adam, can you please come up and pick me up and put me in the house because I sweared that I will not enter the house. By me picking her up and putting it in the house, her oath is not broken.
Correct. Even if I ask him to, because that's one of the options.
They are telling you how to break your oath. They are telling you how to lie. They are telling you how to do the wrong things. Check this out. Now, Mary Herb, next time when you make an oath, please read Inshallah. When a person swear an oath about something in future, affirming or that will occur, include the expression Inshallah, which means if Allah wills, before finishing the oath, then the oath is not broken in any event if he thereby intends to provide for the exception. But if he merely says it out the habit, not intending to make an expiation of the oath, or if we say afterwards. So basically what he's saying is, if you say Inshallah and say, I will repay your money Inshallah by tomorrow, and tomorrow I will not pay your money, then the oath is not broken because I said Inshallah, Allah did not will that. So anybody who comes to me and say Inshallah I'll join your channel next time, I will like, no, don't say Inshallah. Swear on your mother's soul, then I will accept it. This is like this, the lying and how to lie is deep rooted in Sharia. Their Sharia manual tells you exactly how to lie, when to lie, what to lie, and what not to lie. There's another example in a page next to it, which says that when somebody comes to your door and you are in the house and you don't want to meet him, you send your friend there, and your friend will open the door and he'll like, is Adam Seeker in the house? And you will say, no, Adam is not here. When he said Adam is not here, he actually said the truth, because here means between you and me. He is not here, he is actually in the bedroom. So he was not telling the lie, he was telling the truth. That is darura. And let me show you something. The lie is inbuilt in Islam in so many ways, and they are going to tell you exactly how to lie and when to lie. Like this is crazy. And I had a full video, Islamic doctrine on lying, and thanks to a lot of research that was done by our brother Lloyd Dijon, who actually made this presentation. All thanks to him on this. There you go. And it says, Kitman, deceit by silence or omission. An example would be 532, where people says, if you kill one, you kill the mankind. Tawriya, deceit by ambiguity, lying by omission. Adam is not here. Yes, he is in the bedroom, but he's not here. So don't say he's in the bedroom. Say he's not here. Tisyar, deceit through felicitation. Darura, deceit through necessity, to engage in something haram. I'm not a good Muslim. Give me a glass of alcohol and I'll drink it. A whiskey, a wine, a vodka. I don't know. There's so many drinks like that. So, Marura, blending in, temporary suspension of Sharia in order for Muslim immigrants to appear moderate. Maruna, temporary suspension of Sharia in order that the Muslim immigrants may appear moderate in a non-Muslim country. Hyal, hila, deceit, legalistic, trickery. And then we go to the next page and it goes even further. Hayal and harb. Harb is war. War. So hence, Adabul Dajjal and Hayal. The theology and the law, a method of debating in which we discuss the questions are controversial. It is not the matter of finding the truth, but of convincing the opponent. That's it. With all healers, with all hayals, with all trickery, with any possibility of lying. Hayal is the artifact, stratagem, means of evading things. Automata, trickery, braggery, conjectures, circumventing the law, legally devised to use legal means for extra legal ends. What is it? Do you call this a theology? Do you call this a law? Do you call this a religion? I don't know what changed your whole idea that this could be called. I'm out of words right now. Mary, help me with the words.
Yeah, it's just it's saying that it's a form of rhetoric only, and that what you're saying, the truth of any particular word doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the outcome, as long as the outcome is good for Islam. But the reverse is true too. There is nothing. Slander consists of anything that is embarrassing to a person. So whenever you say that Muhammad had sex with Aisha when she was 9 years old, if you mean by it criticism, then that is slander. If you mean by it that you are a faithful Muslim and therefore you are defending Sharia law, then it is not slander. That's why the woman in India was attacked for saying that Muhammad had sex with Aisha when she was 9, because it was the tone essentially in which she was saying it as a criticism. All criticism is slander. It doesn't matter how true it is or not.
Exactly, and there is no slander as well. It's all blasphemy. Everything comes down to blasphemy. Everything is blasphemy at the end of the day.
It's slander if you said it about Umar or something. It would be the same. If you said something nasty about Umar, that would be considered slander, and would also be possibly punishable by death, because the Sunnis are always trying to kill the Shia for saying nasty things about Umar and Abu Bakr, and you're not supposed to say nasty things about them. But I don't think that they call that blasphemy. I think they just call it slander.
Right on the spot in Pakistan, everything, yeah, kind of. You're right on your money as well. All right, let's see if we have some more questions. We have a couple of super chats. One World. Okay, One World, the first super chat. One World said, Adam bhai, if Allah is all knowing, then how can there be shirk? because Allah said in the Quran, if I wanted, I could have made you one nation, but the true word from me will come into effect, that I will surely fill hell with men and jinn together. Hence, Allah wants shirk in this world so that He could fill His hell. And I've shown this chapter number 7, verse number 176, 175 many times in the past as well. Because when people are praying, no matter what their name is, they're calling God, all knowing Allah should. No, no, like I told you. So I gave you the answer. Next part. Oh, by the way, one world. If you want to see all the references, hold on. You know my website, right? Adam Seeker of Truth. So if you go to my website, adamseekeroftruth.com, and then there you go to article called Faith and Free Will. Let me just give it to you. Articles, Faith and Free Will. Where is Faith and Free Will? There you go. So you want the references for all of that. Here you go. That is for you. This is why Allah wants shirk in this world. And then Mary Hab also gave you another verse, another hadith, which says, if son of man, son of Adam, would not have committed shirk, Allah would have created new creation who would commit shirk and then repent. So, that's what it is. One word, second comment. Just as a kid, call some mom dad by different names like dada mama, but parents know what it means, don't hold it against the baby, but evil Allah can't even do that, instead condemn them to eternal hell.
I kind of get what they're saying here. So they're saying that if you call on other gods, if there is only one God, then aren't you just calling on Allah by other names? And it's kind of funny because that is the kind of argument that Muslims make for saying that Allah really is the God of Abraham. It's just another name for him. It's truly the same God, even though the Jewish God does not resemble the Islamic. The Islamic God is made up of parts that are tacked together. His different sifat. What is it in English? His different attributes. There we go. Attributes. There we go. That his different attributes are real things that are all glued together, like an Autobot kind of mega transformer that goes together into a big one, right? That's what Allah is. So he's fundamentally different than the God of Abraham. Whether you're Jew or Christian, we do not agree that they are the same being. But they'll say, oh, but if it's the one God, the creator, it must be the same. The only issue is that if you call on lesser gods who aren't creators and also pray to them, then that should be shirk. But it ought to also be shirk to talk to, oh prophet, as you are praying multiple times every single day. And yet they do that, and somehow magically you can talk to dead Muhammad in your prayers and talk to him as you are praying, and somehow not be praying to him, even though according to Islam, talking to someone in prayer is praying to someone. So
that is hypocritical in essence. Yes, you're right on spot. And Mary, you already answered that, right? I think I did not unstar that. Did you answer that? Mary, do Muslims view Islam is the ultimate? Yeah, you already answered that.
Yep.
And one world said, Aram bhai, you are simply too good. If only we could Xerox you. Thank you. One word, appreciate that. Appreciate all of you. And we have Durga ji with us. Durga ji, you are not Muslim. I don't know why you want to come up. Send me a message in the private chat. Let me know why you want to come up before I could bring you in. All right. With that being said, where was I? Where was I? I was showing you the lies, but I did not want to go to the lies. Where did I want it to go? Mary, you are killing me today because you are changing my topic left, right, and center, and then I have to
yes, I'm just
work
messing
with
everything
you.
up. But they're fun. They're fun topics, aren't they? We keep going back to Shariah. Yeah? We keep going back to Shariah. Because it's all connected to Shariah.
I have to like search on the things and bring them up. And because like you are like a debater, the only difference is you are not debating me, you're just saying things, then I have to follow you. It's like when I'm debating a Muslim, it's just like they are saying something and I'm proving them wrong and I'm showing the same thing. The only difference is this time around you are working with me yet against me
Yeah.
because I have to run behind you. So now let's go back to um, Sharia being divinely protected. You know, a lot of times Muslim comes up and they say we don't agree with the Sharia. We have our own Sharia. There is no our own Sharia whatsoever. Okay, there's nothing called our own Sharia. Let me bring this up before I take this new chats. And it says, when the four necessary integrals of the consensus exist, the ruling agreed upon is an authoritative part of the sacred law that is obligatory farad to obey and not lawful to disobey. Nor can the mujtahids of a succeeding era, means the later era, any new mujtahid, make the thing an objective of the new ijtihad. You cannot change it. It's done.
And if you reject it, what is that called? It is a form of our favorite
Apostasy.
word. Yes, apostasy. So you are also an apostate. You are as much an apostate to say, I don't agree with that part of Sharia law, as you are to say that Muhammad was squeezed by a cave demon and Islam is totally false. Both are apostasy.
Absolutely. Let me show it to you. The proof is Quran chapter number 4, verse number 59. O you who believe, obey Allah and obey the Prophet and those in authority, such that when those authorities, legal experts, mujtahids, agree upon a ruling, it is obligatory farad in the very words of the Quran to follow them and carry their judgment. Allah threatens those who oppose the messenger and follow says, whoever converts the messenger after guidance has become clear to him and follows other than the believing way, we shall give them over to what has turned to roast them in hell. Quran chapter 4, verse number 115. A secondary evidence aspect is that ruling agreed upon by all mujtahids in the Islamic community ummah is in fact ruling of the community represented by its mujtahids. The community is divinely protected from error, including saying so. Sharia is divinely protected. It is like Quran. If Quran is divinely protected, then Sharia is divinely protected.
So
My
Adam,
community, hold on, my community shall not agree on error. This is what Muhammad's saying. My community will not agree on error. Allah is not to make my community in concur or misguidance. That which Muslims consider good, Allah is considered good. This is Ilmaul Fiqh, agreed upon consensus. So now Sharia is divinely protected. And if a Muslim comes up and say Quran says this, Sharia is over the Quran because you as a normal Muslim do not know how Quran speaks, how Quran relates different verses together. All the mujtahids of the Islam created the Sharia based on the Quran and Hadith. They know better than you. You are a normal human being. You are an ignorant. You cannot change it. Yes, Mary Herb. Now tell me, what do you have to say after this?
So if, for example, you say that in fact it is wrong for grown men to put their dingies inside of tiny little children, just categorically, that prepubescent little girls are not allowed, should not be allowed for older men to have sex with. Prepubescent being actually identified as like literally prepubescent, not by an arbitrary year such as 9 years old. What would you be in Islam? Would you be a faithful Muslim or maybe something else?
There you go. M3.3. Guardians are of two types. Those who may compel their female charges to marry someone and those who may not. Compel. Read the word compel and let me show you to you. The only guardians who may compel their charges to marry are virgin bride's father or father's father. Compel meaning, so they thought compel meaning you will not understand, so they're going to give the meaning. Compel meaning to marry her to a suitable match without her consent. Number two, those who may not compel her are not entitled to marry her to someone unless they accept. Okay, now Whether the bride is virgin, the father or the father's father may marry her to someone without her permission, though it is recommended to ask the permission if she has reached the puberty. So if she has not reached the age of puberty, then you are not, it is not even recommended to ask her permission. Just marry her off, because she has not reached the age of puberty. She is 9, she is 8, she is 10, she has not reached the age of puberty. Father and the grandfather can marry her to anybody, and he does not even have to ask her, hey, would you like to marry this guy? No, you don't even have to ask her. Virgin silence is considered permissible if she has reached the age of puberty, and it is recommended to ask her. As for the non-virgin, means she has already been married and has been divorced, she is non-virgin, of sound mind, no one may marry her. So you have to be first deflowered before your permission could be asked, after you have divorced and has been finalized from one guy at least. Yes, sister, you were asking this. I've given you from the Sharia context. What do you have to say?
So if you reject this and deny this, and there are slightly different
You are
versions of this
apostate.
exact thing in all the different fiqhs. They're not identical. So if you just deny this categorically, you would become what?
Apostate!
There we go, apostate. So either you accept this is what Allah wants, and remember that Allah is a panderer. He is a pimp for Muslim men's dinglings, shall we say, that is his primary concern, is the satisfaction of male lust. Massive amounts of Islamic law and Muhammad's own dealings concerned satisfying the lusts of his men. And if you disagree that lust can be satisfied on very small little girls, then you are an apostate.
Exactly. And somebody saying, where is the reference? 522, page number 522. M section 3.13. This is Sharia manual, Undatus Salik, also known as in English as Reliance of Travelers. This is the Sharia manual from Imam Shafi. Now, you said something. Let me go there. Now, if you have married her, she is prepubescent. She is 8 years old, 7 years old, 9 years old, prepubescent. She cannot even divorce him.
Correct.
Let me show it to you. Let me show it to you. To divorce, you need to be pubescent. Not prepubescent. You have to be pubescent. You divorce. The minimum. Where is it? Hold on. Let me just zoom back so that I would know. Hold on. For divorcing, there are 4 laws. To divorce, the person has to be.
So Sarah here is now an apostate because she declares that sex only happens after hitting puberty. Does not teach this in any school of fiqh. Not one school of fiqh says that you must wait until after puberty. So, Sarah, you have now left Islam. You are an apostate because you deny the ijma of the scholars. You deny Sharia. You try to correct it. You say you are better than Allah because Allah says that no, you can have intercourse with her as soon as the people in authority gauge that she is sturdy enough to bear it.
There you go. It's right here. It's right here. It's right here. M 9.2. A waiting period is obligatory for a woman to divorce after intercourse, whether the husband and the wife are prepubescent or not. Sarah, please bring me an evidence from the Quran or from the Hadith that you have to be pubescent, not prepubescent, pubescent before you get married, before you say anything. Sharia denies that. Quran denies that. Hadith denies that. Even Aisha had not reached the age of puberty. Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to send a very thorough link to a very, very thorough coverage. Oh, am I on? I'm not connected. All right, I will in a second send a link as soon as everything syncs up to a very thorough coverage of this subject about this law. No, and Islamic marriage. If you can make me temporarily a mod, I can directly in chat. If not, it'll take a little while for everything
There
to
you
sync
go.
up
There
so
you
that I
go.
can sit it.
Hold on.
Okay.
Before you say something, I found it. Divorce is valid only if you have reached the age of puberty. So if you are effing a pre-pubescent girl in the name of marriage, she cannot even ask for divorce if she is not pubescent, if she has not reached the age of puberty, because a divorce is not even acceptable. It's not even valid unless you have reached the age of puberty. So if you marry a 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old and have sex with her, you can have sex with her for as long she has not reached the age of puberty, because until she has reached the age of puberty, she cannot even ask for divorce. It's right here. Page number 556 of Sharia Manual of Islam. I beg
No,
you,
you are
Muslims.
not allowed to interpret things according to your own understanding, Sarah. That's literally what this says. You are an apostate if you do that.
Hey,
You
Sarah.
cannot.
Sarah, you are an idiot. You are a fool. Come up. Show me where it says that your interpretation will be accepted. Show me where it says your interpretation will be accepted. Once the Sharia is implemented, you will be beaten to death because you are not agreeing on the Sharia. That's what it is. You stupid. I beg you Muslims to read the fiqh and the Sharia of Islam before asking the seculars to implement Sharia. Why are you babbling in the live chat? Why can't you click the link and come up live? Prove us wrong. Show me where in the Quran or Hadith it says you can interpret it according to your own understanding. Nowhere it says that. You have to follow the people in authority, and I have shown that. I will show it to you again. It says you have to follow the people in authority. This is Quran, and Quran is saying, "O you who believe, obey Allah and obey the Prophet and those in authority among you." Mary, somehow I'm getting my own feedback from you. You changed something. So Sarah, don't run away and click on the StreamYard and come back. You wanted to share some video.
Oh, and I'm not sharing a video in chat. I just shared a link to an entire book
There you
about.
go. I shared it. There you go.
Yep, about minor marriage and early Islamic law. And remember, you cannot change it. Authority is the scholarly consensus. It is the ijma of the scholars. Sarah, it's not whatever you feel like. It is an early consensus, cannot be changed by later people's reinterpretation. You cannot do that. And he'll show you again.
Exactly. So scholars are too right. Yes, they are right. It says it's divinely protected. It's right here. Such that when those authority in legal expertise, because you are not in legal expertise, the mujtahid agreed upon the ruling, it is obligatory in the very word of the Quran to follow them. You see, it's right there in the screen. This is the Sharia Manual of Islam. Umdatus Salik, the best of the Salik. And Allah threatens those, Allah threats people like you who opposes the messenger and follow this verse, Quran 4:115. The secondary evidence is that the mujtahid who makes the community is now divinely protected, because Muhammad said, my community shall not agree on error. So when the mujtahids agree, you have to follow it full stop. There is nothing called your opinion. There is nothing called your opinion. It's been 2 hours 22 minutes. Go watch from behind and you will see I've shown you so many different references today. I am speaking with the references after references, and I am also giving you your own scholars. I've shown you so many videos in the past in this live stream already. So please, for the love of humanity, study before you say something stupidity.
Now
Oh,
she's saying
Deobandi
more
school of thought.
stupid
Oh,
things. That is absolutely not true.
wait. Deobandi school of thought.
She
You are
has not read
Deobandi,
the
Sarah.
heavenly ornaments. Did I not just say,
No,
Adam?
let me give you a heavenly
Go
ornament.
ahead.
Let me give her heavenly ornament. A heavenly ornaments. Hold on. HEAVN, heavenly ornament. Let me give you. Says you are Deobandi. I'm happy to speak with a Deobandi. You know, I'm very happy when somebody gives me his or her you know school of thought. It's even better.
And the
Hold on.
Deobandi, the heavenly ornaments, talks about what happens when husbands rupture their
Her private
wives.
part. Her private
Yep,
part. No, not
that
wife.
means
Her
that they
private part.
rip apart their private parts because they are adult men having sex with their prepubescent girls, and they happen to be wrong
Oh,
about whether or not she could bear the weight.
oh, hold on. Relax. Heavenly ornament by Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanvi, Deobandi School of Thought. There you go. I'm so happy you told me what you believe in. I am so happy you told me. There you go. Let's read it together. If a man has intercourse with any underage woman, ghusl will not become farad on the condition that the semen does not come out and that the woman is so young that one fears that by having intercourse with her, her private parts become connected. 40 foot point. On account of her being underage, that the front and the back private part are very close by, and it will be difficult to differentiate between the two.
And let me explain this for Sarah because she might not understand. So, these men are taking their private part and rubbing it against a tiny little girl who is so small that they fear that if they put their dingaling inside of her, they would rip her apart and rip her vagina and her anus so that they become only one opening. That is
One
what
of
it is saying. So it's saying that if instead of putting your penis inside of her, instead you do something else, then you don't have to do ghusl, which is the ablution. You don't have to wash after. So this is telling you how to have intercourse with an underage girl so young that you will rip her apart if you have intercourse with her. If you do not think that you will rip her apart, yes, a fistula, exactly. So if you do not think you will rip her apart and she is still underage, you can have intercourse with her. You can have intercourse with her. And if you are wrong and you do rip her apart, then you have
ghusl is
obligations
obligation.
because because you've harmed her in that way. But you
There
are
you go.
having
Wait.
intercourse.
Read
Go
this.
ahead.
If a woman is underage, but not so small that if one has intercourse with her in a fear of vaginal tissue tearing to such an extent that the vagina and the anus will become virtually together, then by inserting of the glands of the penis into her vagina, ghusl will become farad. So if you insert your penis in such a small baby, I'm not saying that, your scholar is saying that you are a Deobandi, that it will tear the vagina and the anus skin, that it will become one. Then by insertion of the glands of the penis into her vagina, ghusl will become farad.
And this
That's
means
the teaching of Deobandi school of thought, you idiot, demonic beings. Sarah. Get out of this stupidity, you stupid.
And this also means that she is still so small that the whole penis isn't inserted, only a small part, because she's still a tiny girl, but you don't think that you'll rip her apart if you insert just a little bit. So even if you insert just a little bit, she has to do that. So this is still about very small children.
Why would you follow this Deobandi school of thought? They have given you the consensus from the Quran and the Hadith. You accept this stupidity, demonicness, idioticity, and you're telling me that I'm lying?
You must accept it. If you reject it, you are already you you are already this is about minor children, Sarah. And yes, brutal men will do that to women too a lot
There
of
you go. She
times.
said this was in the Hadith. I knew a lady who went to ER on her wedding night because she was raped apart. Yes, she was raped apart. Yes, because it's allowed. Was her husband doing this to her? Obviously, she was an adult. Dude, oh my goodness, you are an idiot, Sarah. Please, you are an idiot.
The
Like
context
nothing more.
here is about little children. If a brutal, evil man could do that even to an adult, imagine what having intercourse will do to a child if you are a brutal, evil man. And that happens to girls all the time.
What did Muhammad do to Aisha? I don't know. But can Aisha say that out loud? No. What happened to Aisha after she fought Ali? She was placed in house confinement. You have no knowledge what happened to her afterwards, but then she died. Aisha was somebody that you call her mother, and then you don't even have any justice for your own mother. She was 9 when Muhammad banged her. Literally. This is what the reality is. And I'm so sorry, Sarah. Get out of this idiotic cult of your prophet. Fake prophet, by the way. Let's take some super chats and see if we have a question. Ooh, man, these cults when they defend Islam, it's like chicken defending KFC, and I get very very angry, Mary Herb. Sorry if
Well,
I
it's
got an angry.
because they're told that all other men are worse. So as bad as these Muslims are, all other men are so much worse than this. When it's not true, when Muslims are the worst of men. They really are. And in the grand scheme of things, there is no country that you are less safe in than a country full of Muslim men. Like as a woman, going in a place as a woman, the most dangerous places in the world for you are going to be Muslim countries, just as an absolute rule. You would have to go to the most dangerous parts of town and the most dangerous other places to get to the kind of level of danger that you do in an average village in in an Islamic country.
Exactly. And Mithunjay says Sarah is the fake ID of Yasmin Fatma. Hey, Yasmin Fatma, and I just verified it after this comment. I just read it. Yes, she created this new name on May 15th because I stopped answering her stupidity in the live chat every day. If you are Fatma, Yasmin Fatma, come up with your real ID and join. Don't babble in the live chat. You are in a fake stupidity cult. Get out of it. That's all what I have to say to you. Thank you, Mithunjay. And Mithunjay said, "Pardon my ignorance, brother. But who is this lady machine gun?" All right, lady machine gun will tell us. Yes, marry her. Please tell us.
I am indeed the Lady Machine Gun, and I am Mary Harb. You mostly find me on Reasoned Answers YouTube channel every Tuesday, and various people occasionally invite me to other streams. So I've been on most recently here on Your Brother in Christ, and then before that I was on an Indonesian stream, and before that I was on another Urdu stream.
Perfecto. Perfecto.
No, I
And
do
thank
not
you,
speak
Mary.
Urdu. They were translating for the
I said
Indonesian and the Urdu.
perfecto. Yeah, I said perfecto. And thank you so very much, Mary Herb. Mary Herb is doing an awesome, awesome job. But by the way, Mary Herb, I never asked you this question. What made you do this polemics? Like what incited you to do this?
So I was in college and when 9/11 happened, and I was one of my areas of study was religious studies and philosophy within philosophy. And so part of that, we studied every single religion, like every single major religion. If it had even a few 100,000 people, basically, well, let's say 1 million people. If I had a million people who followed it, I studied it. And then I came to Islam, and Islam was the only religion in which we never actually read from the sacred book, right? Every other religion, we read the books and studied their ideas about theology and about law and about how the world works and what God is and all this stuff. I'm like, and instead we were given this really stupid book about how
I think we lost Mary Herb for now. She'll come back. Probably her internet went bad or something happened, or her browser crashed. She'll come back and then we will have a chat with her and we'll ask the question again. Adam sir के चलने चेला number one. Good morning, number one, Guruji. बहुत बहुत प्यार. Thank you so very much, sir. Love you too. Arfa Mir X here. Left this cult few days ago. Arfa Mir, join my Urdu stream. You probably are a Urdu speaking person. So if you are an Urdu speaking person, join my Urdu stream this Saturday after 11 p.m. India time or 12 midnight India time. Or if you are an English speaking person, join me here. And I want to see or know why you left Islam as well. And then Mary Herb is again. Mary Herb, sorry, you were disconnected while you were
Yes,
saying.
it did. My phone just crashed, like the app crashed suddenly. Anyway, so just this kind of vague nonsense that didn't even tell me anything about like what is Allah. Everything else we studied like metaphysics and all of these deep concepts. And then 9/11 happened. And I'm like, huh, it's really interesting that A, people are slaughtering tons of people in the name of this religion, and B, for some odd reason, they didn't want me to actually read the holy book of this religion. So maybe I should read it. So I read the Quran for the first time shortly after 9/11. I'm like, okay, now I can tell that I'm being lied to about Islam by these non terrorists, but I can't really make all that much sense of it until Robert Spencer did his blogging the Quran series in like 2006 or 7 or something like that. And I followed along as he did that and learned for the first time about the tafsir because there wasn't that much information in English out there at the time, and began to actually understand what it was. And then after that, I'm like, wow, somebody really has to do something about this. And I realized that what I ought to do, because I'm actually a professional novelist, that is my daytime job, is write a novel about the life of Muhammad and make it clear to everyone who he is, what he is. Because I read the Ibn Ishaq at the same time too. And so I'm like, this really needs to be clarified and not written in the same way as Ibn Ishaq, but more like a novel with all the details that you'd normally have in a novel, like a fictionalization of the real history. And the amount of work that that took was just absolutely enormous. And so I kind of picked at it for a little while, off and on, while I was, doing my day job and everything else. And then eventually I was like, you know what? People really need to hear about this now, not wait for me to finish this. And also, talking more about it and doing the research and talking about it as I do the research will help me structure me doing this research and doing this preliminary work and everything for this final goal of producing this essentially epic series that follows the true story of Muhammad, what he taught, what he did, who he was, and what he actually believed in, and how it changed over time, and how he was tricked and fooled and misled, and how he died knowing that he was a false prophet, calling for a piece of paper so that he could recant all of the false things that he had taught, and fear for his soul, which, is not something you get in these goofy fake histories of Muhammad, like the sealed nectar and other nonsense like that, right? And so that's how I got into it.
Right on spot. Thank you so very much. And while you were away, there is another ex-Muslim, Arfa Mir. Arfa Mir, if you are an English speaker, join in right now. If you are an Urdu speaker, join my Saturday stream. Yes, a lot of people said you can join tonight in ex-Muslim Sahil's stream as well. But because you send the super chat here first, I would like you to have your opening statement on my channel, because I am always keen in listening to new ex-Muslims and why they left Islam as well. So you are more than welcome to join this if you are an English speaker. If you're not an English speaker, join my Saturday stream. And to our brother Black Mamba, don't be sad that I invited her to my channel. I love ex-Muslims, but I don't like them to join my stream at 9 p.m. because that's when I open my topic. So I want to run my topic for a couple of hours before I take ex-Muslims. But yeah, that's what it is. But anyhow, thank you so very much for everyone. And Siddharth sent the YouTube channel of Mary Herb, which is Too Many Marys, but she usually joins Reasoned Answers and she talks over there mostly. So Reasoned Answer is the one that where she will find her mostly. Sagar ji said dharam will win, means righteousness will win and adharam will lose. Absolutely, I agree with you. Adam, do you believe that any religion allows complete freedom of will without constraint? Okay. Now, this question is a multifold question. Okay. Multifold why? Because if you will have a 100% free will, then rape is also in free will. Okay. Then cheating is also in free will. Lying is also in free will. Everything that a human wants to do comes in it. So every single religion, ideology, theology has to say, do this and don't do this. Or at least should say that these things are evil, don't do this. Out of the rest of the things, you have freedom to choose which path you want to choose. But no matter which theology you take, and the theologies comes from God, if you have seen it, each and every religion has some God, right? Concept of some kind of a God. So there cannot be a complete freedom without any constraint, because you actually said complete freedom without any constraint. There cannot be one, because if there is no constraint, then you have openness to do anything. Then the evil and the good, you like there's no distinguishness. So I would say that I have not seen any religion which does not dictates things to be evil. So there has to have some constraint. Even if you take the man-made laws of the countries, there are things that you can do and there are things that you cannot do. So there are always constraints. I hope I answered your question. If I have not, send me a normal chat and let me know where I have not answered the question, and I will try to answer based on your explanation on another chat. So you don't have to send me a super chat. You can just send me a normal chat and I will look into it. Shokeen Kafir said, ex-Muslims are blessings for us Kafirs in helping us understand the truth about Islam. Okay, with punctuation this time. Yes, that is much better with punctuation because
So,
I can see the difference. Yes.
yeah, I have a question though. Do regular Muslims or ex-Muslims know more about Islam? Because a huge number of people only really learn about Islam, like all the depths of it, once they become ex-Muslims. They, a few things make them go, wait a second, wait a second, wait a second, this can't be right. And then they leave. And then they find out more about what they were supposed to have believed, and they didn't even know it at the time. That has been overall the rule in my experience of meeting ex-Muslims.
So, first of all, they leave Islam because they know the truth about Islam. And then, when their brain is open and there is no veil to look at their Islamic things without a veil, they can see, oh my goodness, I used to follow this as well. That's stupid. That's stupid. So, yes, but first, like obviously, an Muslim knows more about Islam than a Muslim because he has left Islam based on looking at the things about Islam. And yes, Shakeen Kafir, you're right. I love you, man, and thanks for the punctuations. Appreciate it. Appreciate it for your help. Appreciate it. Yes, Mary Herb. I think I used to end my English stream in 2 hours. Apparently, it's almost 3 hours now.
Sorry.
And no, it's really good with you being here and having a nice discussion with you. It's
It
always
makes it
good.
easier, I think. You have to just keep going and going and going when you're by yourself, but when you're with somebody else, you can take a breath sometimes.
Yeah, but at the same time, you have made me run into so many directions.
Yes, that is true.
Like you were talking, and I was like, okay, I need to bring this up now. I need to bring this up now. Oh my goodness, she went there, and then I was like, oh my god, now she went there. So yeah, but to all the people who are from my Urdu channel, I'll be doing the same stream as that I have scheduled it like 4 days ago. I want Sharia in Islam, and you would have a couple of my tweets as well, so you can go to my tweets and retweet them and post them and tag hash I want Sharia, I capital WNT Sharia S capital with the same tweet and tweet it again and again. I will say that in my Urdu stream today on Sahil's channel as well. And we want to bring as many Muslims as we can so that we could see what is the why they want Sharia and why they don't want Sharia. Eternal Sanatana again said, if you are assert that no religion is entirely accurate, how can you confidently identify yourself as a Christian believer? Brother, I am telling you, and I have told you many a times, Christianity is not a religion. It's a relationship. Okay, let me give you a context why I said that. In the Old Testament to the New Testament, God of the Bible never said, I am giving you a religion. Religion was a paganistic word that was given by people who left the true God and created a name religion, a ideology, and they called it a religious ideology. Number two, Christianity, Christ never said, I am bringing you a religion called Christianity. It's the name Christ. And if you read Acts of Apostle chapter number 11, when Paul and a couple of other apostles went to Antioch, these people who were Hebrews, Israelites, they called them, you are not Israeli, you are Christos. This is the Greek word Christos. Christos simply means follower of Christ, means the one who is following Christ. One, so as a Christian, I try my best to follow Christ to utmost possibility that I can follow him. Christ never gave a religion. A religion is by default inaccurate, false, and paganistic belief system, according to the Bible as well. I follow Christ because Christ is God Himself, in a very short manner, God Himself incarnated in form of a human being. We call Him in our human tongue language, we call Him Son of God, the Son, not Son of God, we just simply call Him Son. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. These are three eternal persons which are one Godhood, which are comprised in one Godhood. One being, which is God, three eternal person. That is what Christianity is. It is not a religion, it's a way of life. It's a relationship. So when you come in a relationship, what do? You follow what your parents taught you. When I follow Christ, I follow what the Father taught us, what the Father taught Christ. Christ said in the Bible, He said, I do nothing of my own, but what I see my Father doing. So we follow what the Father put us to do, which is good. And in Colossians, it says, all the laws is encapsulated in one sentence, and that is, love your neighbor as you love thyself. Love your neighbor as you love yourself, in simple words. This is the essence of Christianity. We follow Christ because He said, love everyone, love your enemies, and pray for them. We pray for them, but At the same time, we tell them that you are in darkness, O Muslims. They have a different gospel. They have a false gospel. They have a false Jesus. They have a false Christ. We love everyone. So Christianity in essence is not a religion. It just tells you follow Christ, do what Christ have done. He came to this world, showed us how to live as a human being, in a perfect human. He is the God man. He's a God man who came into a human form, gave birth. He came as he was birthed, and he grew up, and he did everything that we should follow him. So he is a perfect example for us to follow. That's what Christianity is. I hope I gave you the answer. Uh, Mitrinjay said, when did the 3 hours become too long for Mr. Seeker? Come on, man. In English, 3 hours is pretty long, Mitrinjay. English speaking people usually, they get tired very soon. In Urdu, we do like 8 9 hours of a stream. In English, we gotta finish in less than 2 hours, 3 hours maximum. That's where my English streams kind of ends. That's what I do. So thank you everyone. If there is any other question based on my long speech, you are more than welcome to ask me, because I don't want to leave all the known Christians here in in a thinking manner, in a dilemma. If you wanna refute, you are more than welcome to refute me. And if you have more desire to refute me, you can definitely come up live and refute me in that manner. But that's what I do. Eternal said, sorry, Adam, I cannot love my enemy. Now, this is eternal. This is very important. Eternal. Realize this. Christ came to this world, and when he came to this world, he said, I love who? Everyone, but I hate the sin.
While we were
Eternal.
but
We
while
have
we were
to,
yet yeah, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us, and sinners are enemies of God.
exactly. So, Christ never hated the sinner, he hated the sin. And that is why I always say, I hate Islam. I don't hate Muslims. I love Muslims. I hate Islam. Islam is an ideology. I hate this ideology. Muslims are deceived through this ideology. I pray for Muslims. Let me tell you what my experience is about Christianity. I have always been a Muslim for most of my life. I don't know how much life left for me, but I've always been a Muslim for most of my life. And I've always been cursing the Jews and the Christians in the mosques. When I go for Friday prayer, I've been cursing them. Oh Allah, give them cancer, kill them, destroy them, finish them, obliterate them, and etc. 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 When I came to the West, I was still praying the same thing while I was in the West, in their country. And after a few years, when I realized Islam is false and everything, I had still not left Islam. I have not still fully left Islam, but I was like at the very edge of it. And one day I went to a church with a friend of mine, and you know, the pastor was praying for the Muslims. And I was like, oh God, help them, get them to the truth, help them, guide them. And I was listening to this pastor who was praying for the Muslims while I was sitting there. And I was like, I used to pray for these pastors and the Christians. God, destroy them, kill them. Oh Allah, give them cancer, finish them, obliterate them. These people are praying for Muslims. Oh God, guide them, get them out of this this bad idiotic theology. He was saying it in a nice way. I'm just giving you the summary of it. So a mind shifts. You know, when you accept Christ, your mind shifts. Your mind suddenly shifts. At one side, you have to take a big searchlight and put it on Islam and let them see where the truth is. that Islam is false. So I have to put a huge searchlight on Islam. But at the same time, every time I pray for the Muslims. Every single time. I have not, like, I do not know any of my prayer in which I have not prayed for the Muslims. Not a single one. Just like every time when I was a Muslim, I used to curse the Jews and the Christians. Now, every time I pray for the Muslims because I hate the sin, not the sinner. Why should I hate the sinner? Sinner is deceived by the Satan, the liar of this earth. I should love him. I should pray for him. You know, if your son, Mr. Eternal, if your son is a druggist alcoholic, will you start to hate him? No. You will try to get him to a rehab. You will try to get him fixed. You will try to get that sin away from him. You would try to get them out of this hell. You would not hate him. That is what I do. We should not hate Muslims. We should hate Islam, the theology, the sin. That's how we should work. And I'm sorry, Eternal, I spoke a lot on you. Marihat, would you like to say something?
Not on this topic. People keep leaving super chats, so I can answer Matthew 10:30 to 39 very quickly and allow you to close out.
Oh, wait, before you go to Matthew 10:39, let me just
Yeah.
read this because the Eternal Sanatan said again with a
Yep.
huge super chat. He said, if you consider Christianity to present the ultimate truth, why does it not align with science? Do you truly believe that Christianity is absolute true? Okay, now, science. Let me tell you something. There is nothing in the Bible which goes against the science. Let me just say that, number one. Number two, Bible is not about science. Bible never told you about science. Never. I don't think anywhere in the past or now any proper biblical author or biblical researchist ever said accept the Bible because of science. This is Quranic claim. This is Islamic claim. Biblical authorship and biblical scholars never say accept Bible because of science, because Bible is not a, just let me allow me to finish first. Bible is not a book of science. It does not tell you theories, theorems, things of the world. It is a spiritual book, and if you even read it, let me give you one single passage, Eternal Sanatan. Just read Matthew chapter number 5, the Sermon of the Mount. Okay, you don't have to read the whole thing, just go midway through and you will see Sermon of the Mount. If you just read Sermon of the Mount, just half chapter of one gospel called Matthew, and you can read the whole gospels, you can read all four gospels, but obviously that will be too much for you to read. But just read this Sermon of the Mount. You will see the purpose of Christ was not to teach you science. That is human purpose. Our purpose, learn science, excel in science, and all these kind of stuff. The purpose of Bible is to get you to a relationship with your God. That's it. How can you reach that? Does Bible says, oh, there is 9 planets? No. It doesn't tells you about planetary things, stars and moons and stuff like that, or where does the water comes from. It doesn't gives you any of these things. It has nothing to do with this. Now, what some of the Muslims do, there are 5 books in the Old Testament which are called the books of poems. Okay, once again, poems. Let me tell you, songs. For example, Songs of Solomon. These are songs. Proverbs. These are songs. Psalms. These are songs. So there are 5 books of songs. Songs are always written in a metaphorical way. You cannot say, take a verse of a song out of context and say, it doesn't fit with science. Because songs, even in our era, when the science is there, they don't confine themselves with science. It doesn't go with science because they are songs. So every single Muslim article that is written, they are always written based on those songs, that these songs are not scientific. Songs are never meant to be scientific. They are meant to be metaphoric. That is how the songs work. They are songs.
And
So
very quickly also, the reason that Islam has it did have it isn't the Quran does not make the scientific claims that people today claim that it says, but it does make all kinds of scientific claims about what stars are and where certain things start and how certain things work and this and that and the other. They give you specific knowledge of the natural world, things of the unseen that are revealed to Muhammad. And the reason that that is so is because that was what pagan gods did. They were gods of writing. Allah is a god of writing by the pen. He's the one who taught people how to write. He is a god of writing in a pagan way. And that is a very pagan way of thinking things. You have a god of medicine and a god of writing and a god of these different technological attributes. Whereas the Bible actually cautions very heavily against having that kind of view of technology and scientific knowledge as being divine, because the first people who have to develop technology in the Bible are the children of Cain. And the reason why that is called out and mentioned, that they're the ones who developed these first technologies, is so that you don't think that this has a divine source and that's revelation, and that's what you should look to God for. We look to God for salvation, not for teaching us how to write, not for telling us that stars are missiles that you throw at jinn. That's not what God does. That's not his function in our world. And so the Bible is also gives you a picture of God, a God who is a mind, who is logical, sentient, consistent, trustworthy. And that is why the entire scientific revolution developed, why empiricism could only occur in an environment that had a God like our God. So our worldview of who God is predicted that science is something you can do, that you can have, and you can learn things through empirical means. That might not be the only way you learn things, but that is a way to learn things about the universe, because we have a God of order and of logic, not a God who is capricious and does whatever he wills, whenever he wills it, and it might be up, maybe down, and down, maybe up, and you can't rely on anything, and he's a trickster and all of this stuff. So we to go, but Christianity goes against science whenever science is the child of Christianity is absurd. And so that's where you really get things backwards. And no, all events are not predestined in Satan's drama. So I don't know what you're saying, what you mean about that. All events in Satan's drama are not predestined. It's like Satan does things, but God is smarter than Satan and works all things to the good of those who love him. So that's what's promised,
Marian,
not that.
you
Yeah,
went on a tangent. He
I
has
did jump
nothing to
ahead.
do with Islam. Yeah, you went on a tangent, and I was not talking about anything about Islam. But thank you for giving us a contrast as well. I was just talking about Christianity because that's what the question was. But yes, if you do a contrast with Quran, that's exactly what you said. I'm not going to repeat it, but yes, you are right on spot. And yeah, so that's what it is. So Eternal Sanatan, join my Discord and we can have a nice discussion if you want more discussion on that. And he said again, if all events are predestined in Sanatan Dharma, why do we follow a religion connected to Satan probably. uh Once again, this is a pure Islamic concept, because then Allah becomes a Satan. because of now I don't know what Satan's dharma. Okay, not Sanatan dharma. Sorry, my bad. Let me read the question again. If all events are predestined in Satan's drama, I'm so sorry, read it incorrectly first. If all events are predestined in Satan's drama, why do we follow a religion connected to Satan? Actually, we prove that Allah is Satan. We prove it. The difference is Islamic followers think Allah is God. And then when we show them, they if they have a mind, they leave Islam. And the problem with this predestination of each and everything is so stupid. And by the way, uh, probably you are also following ex-Muslim Sahil's channel. Yesterday, ex-Muslim Sahil placed a video, and you should actually watch it as well. And then day before yesterday, me and Sahil spoke about this as well. This is a problem in Islam. God of the Bible, if you look at God of the Bible, because that's why I love Bible in itself, because everything is so very clear. And nothing like this is written in Islam. God of the Bible said that every single person's name is written in the book of life. Means when God created each and every one of us, He wrote our name in the book of life. That is Exodus chapter number 32, verse number 31 to 33. I'll repeat. Exodus chapter number 32, verse number 31 to 33. Every single person's name is written in the book of life. Then what happened? When the person does something wrong, God erases, blots that name out of the book of life. God, knowing what you would do, God knows everything what you will do. But yet again, when He created you, He knows all the possible futures of yours. This is how some of the scholars actually explain the God of the Bible. And they explained it that He knows all the possible futures. That in every crossroad, what path you will take. Now, that would have been very difficult for the early scholars of Christianity to explain that. But nowadays, it is very possible because we have Avengers movie. In Avengers movie, there is a person called Dr. Strange, right? Dr. Strange. When he was fighting Thanos, he sat there and he looked at all of the possibilities of the future. And he looked at, I don't know, he said like some million possibilities. And he said only one possibility leads to the ultimate saving of the entire humankind. Now, nowadays it is possible, but for the early scholars of Christianity, it wasn't very possible. So let me read what Exodus 32, verse 31 to 33 says. Then Moses returned to Yahweh and said, Alas, this people has committed a great sin, and they have made gods of gold for themselves. But now, if you will forgive their sins, but if not, please blot me out of your book of life as well, which you have written. And Yahweh said to Moses, Whoever has sinned against me, I will blot him out of my book. Whoever has sinned, I will blot his name. Not all of the names. And then Revelation chapter number 3, verse number 5 in the New Testament, it says, and let me read, He who overcome will thus be clothed in white garment and will never erase his name from the book of life. And I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels. That is Jesus Christ saying. And what he is saying, that I will never erase his name from the book of life. Who was clothed in the righteousness, garments of the righteousness. Now, imagine what is happening here. Everyone names So Judas's name was also written in the book of life. Judas, who committed the ultimate sin of selling Jesus in for 30 pieces of shekel. His name was also written in the book of life until he did the grave sin. Only then his name was blotted out, not before. Not before. God, the Bible only gives you prosperity. Unlike Allah, who says, I have created many of the jinns and mankind for hell, God, the Bible says, I have created each and every person to live with me in heaven for eternity. With me, like me. That's the contrast. And versus the Satan's drama, who says, I have predestined everything for you. The choice is yours, what you want to accept. The choice is yours. And thank you for these very beautiful questions. I really appreciate all of your questions. These are beautiful and marvelous questions. And prayer says science is to explain you material world and theology is for the mind and the soul. Adam Seeker, correct. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Science is for the mind and soul. And you have to bring your soul, your mind, your spirit aligned to do the right thing. That is what Christianity is all about. Yes, Mary, you wanted to go to a particular verse.
Oh, I was just going to quickly answer. Yeah, Matthew 10, explaining Matthew 10, 34 to 39, which talks about how Jesus came to bring not peace but a sword. And
Oh,
that is
yeah.
very quickly, that is, he brings peace to whom? Between man and God. We are born enemies of men of God when we sin. As sinners, we are enemies of man, and we are, or excuse me, of God. Blah! We are enemies of God, and we are against Him. Christ reconciles all believers to Him. Therefore, those who are not reconciled to Him are enemies of those who are reconciled to Him, because they are on the side of Satan. That's what's meant there. So when He brings division, it's because some will fall, and just like now, there are people who are Muslim who profess to be Muslim and know it is not truth, but they stay in Islam. Why? Because they don't want their parents to find out, because they don't want to upset their families, and so they stay in Islam and remain in deception and in the realm of death, because they are not willing to love Christ more than their parents, who are on the side of Satan, whether they know it or not. And that is what is being said there. So he is a Prince of Peace who reconciles creation to himself, who brings peace between the enemies of God and God, if they believe. But if you don't, you remain an enemy, and therefore you're an enemy to all the children of God.
Okay, let me fix this a little more. The parallel of Matthew 10:34 is in Luke 12:49 to 53. Let me read it. This is what Mary had said in her own word. Let me read the word which is written. Matthew is writing for the Hebrew Jews who knows the word of God. Luke is writing for the Gentiles and the general public. So let's read it from the words of Luke, because he will explain it to you what Mary explained in her words. So Gentiles like you, and you are a Muslima. So for you who are a Muslima who has never read the Old Testament, for you is Luke. Luke is writing the same thing, but in a different way. I have come to cast fire upon earth. How I wish I were kindled, but I have a baptism to undergo, and how distressed I am until it is finished. Do you think I have come to grant peace on earth? I tell you, no, but rather division. From now on, 5 members in one household will be divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. They will be divided, father against son, son against father, mother against daughter, daughter against mother, mother against and mother-in-law. So, what is going to happen here? Because he came to this world and he kindled up a fire of Christ fire of righteousness, fire of being good, fire of not accepting Satan as your worshipper. What is going to happen with that? Like, I left Islam, what is going to happen? My mother is against me, my father is against me, my brothers are against me. All of those people who loved me now hated me, because I have went through a baptism of Christ. Means I have, check this out, let me show you. Baptism, let be baptism with, okay? And how distressed I am until it finished. Do not think, now it comes to it. So he is a prince of peace, but people who does not like peace are going to fight him. People who does not like peace are going to fight him. That's exactly what is happening, and they will always happen. So it is clear, and you can read the whole chapter and you will see how it is. Christ never said go and fight and kill. It's everywhere. It is everywhere. He never said go and fight. Rather, he said the one who live by the sword die by the sword. This is a spiritual book. It has nothing to do with fighting, killing. There is nothing like fighting or killing in it. At the end of the day, think about it in a very different perspective. What will you gain by fighting? Let me say, let me say for the sake of argument, Christ said, go and fight. Why did the 12 apostles never fought? Why did they never fight? Why did they never pick up a sword and went on fighting everyone? Think about it. Muhammad said, bring peace. Okay, done. Why did each and every follower of Muhammad went out fighting? That's obviously sarcastic. But at the same time, you see, follower of Christ never fought. Follower of Muhammad fought till they died. And we see the fruits. And Christ said, by their fruits, they will be recognized. And that's the reality of it. Thank you so very much for being here, everyone. Love you all. Mary Herb, last words before we end the stream.
Salam al-Masih. How about that?
Salam alaikum. Have a blessed day, evening, or night, wherever you are. Thank you so very much for being supportive here. Thanks for all your super chats. Thanks for all the Patreon members who are my Patreon subscribers. I appreciate it. I love you all. You are the unsung heroes. Thank you so very much. Have a blessed day, evening, or wherever you are. Day, evening, or night, wherever you are. And I'm so sorry if anything that I said might have hurted you, but I'm here to tell you the truth and expose the lies. Take care. Yeshua Akbar Azim.